This portion of our meeting will be recognizing outstanding individuals for their accomplishments, and I am waiting for my colleagues to join me. So a few minutes, and they should all be here. But thank you again for showing up. Is the mayor coming down? Good morning again, and welcome again to the City of Miami Commission meeting for April 11th, 2024. We're going to begin our proclamation ceremony. I'm going to turn the mic over to the mayor.
Okay. Hey, Madam Chair, how are you? So, I know that Commissioner Gabella, okay, are these? Okay, I'm sorry, these are just two other ones, Earth Day and Arbor Day. Or do you want to start with Commissioner? Okay, guys, I guess my staff is telling me that we're going to start with Earth Day and Arbor Day 2024. And so today it's my distinct honor and privilege to proclaim Earth Day Miami 2024 and Arbor Day Miami 2024 in the city of Miami. So this is how are you? This is something that we're doing to proclaim our environment, and we're very grateful for the opportunity to do so. So thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you, Chief Butler, my official clapper. Gail, what do we got? Okay, they're going to come up to take pictures? Okay, great. This is our Public Works Department, right? Yes, sir. Okay, good. You're gonna, what do you got there? Oh, nice. I want you guys to give a round of applause to our Public Works employees. These men and women, along with our solid waste employees, keep our city clean. They make sure our sidewalks are paved. They clear our lots that sometimes are extremely dirty. And they are one of the backbones of the city of Miami. They work hard and they don't ask for much credit. So I just want to thank them for their hard work. And they're well led. This is Commissioner Gabella. Great. Awesome, guys. Great work. Thank you for what you do. God bless you guys. Thanks, brother. Nice shirt. I like that. Love that. Thank you. Thank you, guys. God bless. Thanks, brother. Thank you, sir. You got it. Okay. Morning.
So we got individual.
No. Just one, and then just call everybody up. And we'll give it to them. We'll call their names if you want to. We'll just call them. Just bring them on. You know, you have a list of the names?
No.
Okay, so this you can just talk about it a little bit, and then call the just have them come with the officers for that unit. You can talk about it after you call everybody up.
Okay. All right. So up next is to honor the officers of my District 1. First one, it is with great pride and admiration that we extend our heartfelt commendation to you for your exceptional achievements in the realm of law enforcement training. Your unwavering dedication, tireless efforts have not gone unnoticed. Your commitment to excellence has been demonstrated time and again, but it is particularly noteworthy to highlight the remarkable certification examination pass rates achieved by our estimated training staff. In the year 2023, your collective expertise and guidance resulted in an outstanding pass rate of 93%. This accomplishment is a testament to your hard work, professionalism, and dedication to preparing future law enforcement officers for the challenges that they will face in the line of duty. Furthermore, I am delighted to share the news that in the final quarter of 2023, your efforts reached new heights as you achieved a perfect pass rate of 100%. Well, this remarkable achievement reflects your relentless pursuit of excellence and your commitment to ensuring that our community is served by the most competent and well-prepared law enforcement officers. Your dedication to continuous improvement and your unwavering commitment to the safety and security of our community are truly commendable. Your exemplary performance sets a high standard for excellence in law enforcement training, and I am honored to recognize and celebrate your achievements. On behalf of the City of Miami, Mayor Francis Suarez, Commissioner Miguel Angel Gavila, we extend our sincerest gratitude to each one of you for your outstanding contributions. Your hard work, professionalism, and dedication do not go unnoticed, and I am proud to have such an exceptional team serving our community. Thank you for your continued commitment to excellence and for your invaluable contributions to the safety and well-being of our city.
And I think it's important that we call all of your names. So Commissioner Gabella is going to read off everyone's name.
Absolutely. Yep, Officer Carlos Grave de Peralta. Lieutenant Jean Paul Gillot. Sergeant Ivan Camilo. Major Eric N. Gonzalez. Sergeant Misael Reyes. Officer Moise Joseph. Officer Andre Cabrera. Officer Christopher Camacho. Officer Michelle Farinas. Officer Mario Gonzalez. Officer Ronald Giron. Officer Gabriela Rodriguez. Officer Guiteca Kirksey. Officer Archie Griffin. Officer Kyle Laro. And Officer Julian Cotto. Thank you.
That's right.
This is, okay.
This is another one that you got to do. So you have these for the K-9.
Canine. All this a canine?
And you did a salute. These are the certificates. This is the salute to the K-9 department. So you did 2 things.
Okay. Let me have all the K9 unit here. Come on, K9. Come on, K9. You know, this unit is unique. They are the ones that always get the people that are hiding drugs, and the use that they offer to the police department, it is incredible. Whenever they have somebody that takes off, they bring the K9 unit. And the amount of work that these people do with their dogs, that becomes part of the family, it is fantastic. I must congratulate them for the job that you do, which is extremely important for the safety of our residents in the city of Miami. And we have here a salute to say today we gather to honor and salute the exemplary performance of the city of Miami K-9 unit. Their dedication and valor have once again shone brightly, bringing immense pride to our city. I'm thrilled to announce that our Miami K-9 unit has earned the prestigious Top 10 award at the USPCA Region 1 K-9 Trials. Congratulations. Congratulations. This historic achievement not only reflects their exceptional skills, but also underscores their unwavering commitment to excellence, which is true. To the entire Miami K-9 unit, your bravery, professionalism, and dedication inspires us all. You represent the very best of our city, and we salute you. It is therefore fitting that we elected leadership of the city of Miami pause in our deliberation and governance to salute you. Presented on behalf of the city of Miami by Mayor Francis Suarez, the whole commission, and myself. Thank you very much.
Here's my K9. Where do you guys train the K9s?
Legion Park, yeah.
Legion Park, District 5. Yes, they train right at Legion Park in District 5, and they do a wonderful job. And this is my honorary K9, Cinnamon. So just want you to know that I am a pet lover. I love that you guys are training in our city in what you do. Thank you so much for your service.
Okay. Officer Rainier Rodriguez. Rainier Rodriguez. Brian Garcia. Jonathan Ramirez. Mi tocayo Manuel Bello. Hey, Manny. Officer Cassandra Morales. Officer Guillermo Suarez. Officer Raymond Washington. And Officer Benjamin Leon Jr. Okay. That's another. Oh no, that's another. That's another. Yeah. You know, I got him in the K9 unit. he's the guy that owns the clinics. Okay, thank you guys. Thank you very, very much. And be careful out there, and God bless you all. Thank you. Sir. Picture. Let me come here. Where's your dog? Where's your canine? Thank you.
That's his paycheck. That's his paycheck.
Officer Benjamin, yo dije, no, ¿de cuándo es que se metió?
And so now, we want to give another award to a team that's in my heart because they work for the City of Miami hard and they work for Allapattah. They're doing a good job. It's the Allapattah Problem Solving Team, and it is with great honor and pride that we extend our heartfelt commendation to the Allapattah Problem Solving Team, PST, for receiving the Unit Citation Award for your outstanding dedication to the constituents of the City of Miami. Your dedication demonstrated exceptional commitment and valor in safeguarding our community through your unwavering dedication and teamwork. You have successfully removed a significant number of illegal firearms from our streets, leading to a safer environment for our citizens. The team has diligently prioritized the reduction of violent crimes to improve the quality of life in the Allapattah neighborhood. Your outstanding efforts led to the following accomplishments in March 2024. 45 total arrests, 28 felony arrests, 3 misdemeanor arrests, 12 arrest warrants, apprehensions, 17 firearms recovered from the streets, participated and assisted in the execution of narcotics search warrants, identified and arrested subjects wanted for a traffic homicide, conducted narcotic surveillance at multiple locations to address drug-related complaints. The PST team implemented high visibility traffic details and patrols to address crime and more. Your relentless efforts have directly contributed to a reduction in violent crimes, enhancing public safety, and instilling a sense of security in the Allapattah community. On behalf of the City of Miami, Mayor Francis Suarez, I, Commissioner Miguel Angel Gahuela, we extend our sincerest gratitude to each and every one of you for your outstanding contributions. Your hard work, professionalism, and dedication do not go unnoticed, and I am proud to have such an exceptional team serving our community. Thank you for your continued commitment to excellence and for your invaluable contributions to the safety and well-being of our city. Thank you. And I just want to commend Sergeant Oscar Baquedano, Sergeant Jordan E. Bahamonde, Officer Jonathan Lavernia, Officer Lázaro Marquez, Officer Anthony Cruz, Officer James Marte, Officer Jessica Estape, Officer Carlos Rodriguez, and Officer Edward Cruz. And I want to congratulate also Commander Rodriguez, that's in charge of this group. Thank you, gentlemen and ladies, for what you do. It is deeply appreciated.
Thank you, Commissioner. I want to also thank your PST team. And I just want to give our residents sort of a little explanation of what PST does. Most of the time when you call 911, well, not most of the time, every time when you call 911, an officer responds if necessary. And that is one unit, right? Those are officers that are on duty and are responding to calls for service. The problem-solving team does something different. The problem-solving team is a team that comes in to solve a problem. And so let's say, for example, that there are break-ins in a particular neighborhood, whether they're car break-ins or home break-ins. They're the team assigned to figure it out and sort of be proactive and try to catch people in the act, which is a very, very, very different and much, much more dangerous assignment than many have. And so it's sort of like a SWAT team type of situation where you don't know what you're going to encounter. And so they're working at odd hours. I can't even tell you what all their methods are because they wouldn't want me to. But I just want you to know, because it's the way that they operate, and I think people don't often know the way that we function and how our department is staffed. And so I just want to thank our chief too for continuously deploying them in a way that that makes the commissioner and us look good by reducing crime in our neighborhoods. Thank you. So, as I was explaining with the problem-solving teams, the way that we respond to calls begins with our telecommunications department. When you call 911, our dispatchers are the ones that answer the phone. And when you think about high-stress jobs, right, and you think about air traffic controllers, for example, that are guiding planes to make sure that they land safely and that they don't have conflicts, think about what a 911 operator, whether they're fire or police, is encountering multiple times a day, every single day. Now, I'm going to take you back into your own jobs and your own lives, right? You run a performing arts center, and that's tough, and it's hard, and we try to make it excellent for you and for our community. But you're talking about someone who every day, all day, is dealing with tragedy, essentially. Every day, all day. So the stress, the mental anguish, the procedures that you have to know to deal with those emergencies to solve the problem. I mean, these are some of our most critical employees, and so I just want to commend their work. Today is National Public Safety Telecommunicators Week, or this week, and so I wanted to commend the fire and police first responders, because they really are the first responders. They're the ones that take the first call, our dispatchers. Thank you. Oh, and of course, I'm going to turn the mic over to our brand new fire chief that Josie calls him Bob Hevia. Right, Joe? Bob Hevia?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And truly, our emergency dispatch telecommunity led by our assistant fire chief, Norja Aragon, they're the first line. We're very proud of our telecommunicators. We have received an accreditation for emergency medical dispatch, which is only a few in the state of Florida, only a few in the country, and we have perpetually held that. So we're exceptionally proud of them. Thank you for the proclamation, and thank you for the partnership with Miami Police Department. Together, we from the first call, we're offering the best service because of our partnership with police. Thank you.
We're good. We're good.
I hope my FOP doesn't get upset at me here, but today we're recognizing the PBA, one of our brothers who's out there in the audience. The PBA is a pillar of strength and support for our law enforcement personnel and those across the country. They have been such a support, and their hall is something that we use on a regular basis, and so we just want to thank them for allowing us. We just did an event there the other day that was phenomenal. It's an employee appreciation event. It was unbelievable, and we just want to thank them for always being so generous with their incredible facility. Thank you for your patience, by the way. This is what happens when you miss a commission meeting. We missed one commission meeting, so we have a little bit of a pent-up number of proclamations. Today, we're acknowledging and proclaiming two incredibly dedicated employees. People who have embodied what we are as an organization. We strive to provide service at the highest level, at the highest quality, and in an affordable manner for our residents. And today we're going to honor two people who have dedicated a significant part of their life to make that goal a reality. The first one is the Director of Community Development, George Mensah. Now, George was here far before I arrived, but he was here when I arrived in November of 2009. I did not have any white hairs. I've seen pictures. And I'll be honest with you, for the first year, I didn't understand a word that George said. There wasn't one word that George said that I could actually understand. But after a year, I understood his cadence, and I was able to understand what he was telling me. And I'll tell you that in my entire time of almost 15 years of working in this building, I never doubted his competency. I never doubted his depth of knowledge of community development and how it impacts our community, and also how we have to administer it in a way that doesn't negatively impact the city. And I never, ever doubted his will and his intensity and his love for the city. And so I have to say that I've kind of created a new tradition now where when there's a retiring director, we're giving them a key to the city. Because I think that they deserve it. They've dedicated, how many years has it been, George? 20 years. Of their life. Okay, you can say that if you want. But thank you. Thank you for all your work. On behalf of our residents who have benefited from your work, thank you.
Good morning, everyone. On one cold morning of January 4th, 2004, I walked into the city of Miami as a housing program manager. I didn't know that journey would end up 20 years today and being honored today. I just want to thank everyone that made this possible, especially the city administration. Mr. Mayor, me and you go a long way. And I thank you for everything that you've done for me. I thank all the commissioners who've stood by me. I know sometimes I might be a little difficult, but I do all that in the sense of protecting the city, making sure that whatever we do, that we are compliant with all the regulations that federal government provide for us. I'm also thankful to the administration, the assistant city manager, Larry Springs, who actually made it possible for me to become the director, and my city manager. Since he's been here, he's been very supportive and allowed us to be able to do our job. Last but not the least, I wanted to thank all my staff. I would not have been able to do this job without them. I always used to say that I'm successful in my job because I don't have any family in Miami, and they are my family. So when I wake up in the morning, I always think about how I can make their job easier for them and how I can make it easier for the city of Miami to be able to meet its affordable housing goals. So thank you very much for this honor. I think I can walk into the sunset with my chest held high. Thank you very much.
Say goodbye to Mr. Manson.
Yesterday, we got to witness something truly special. We got to see the transfer of command in what I believe is the best run fire department in America. It was an incredible ceremony performed flawlessly, as you would expect. It was incredibly poignant. And what I think surprises me the most, but probably shouldn't surprise me because I've gotten a chance to work with Chief Z and also with Bob. That's it. It's done, right? Is how eloquent they are. I mean, these guys are experts at what they do. In the case of Chief Z, obviously leading urban search and rescue team for the better part of 20 years or close to 20 years. But you don't expect them to be such amazing communicators. And I think a testament to how they lead and how any leader leads, to be honest, is how you communicate. And I was just blown away by their speeches, both of their speeches, how they delivered it, the words they chose, the meaning in the speeches. And again, it was just further confirmation that this is a unique department. The process for transfer, I'm very proud of. I think I said this last night at the Union Hall. I'm very proud of where the city department is and where it's going to be as I eventually transition out. And yesterday, I got to share a story of Chief Z that was about Hurricane Dorian and how we had a conversation right after it happened, and he acknowledged that sending the USAR team there would not be reimbursed, and yet essentially demanded that we had to do it, and we had to do it right now. And it was such an incredible learning lesson for me as a leader to see someone who was so convicted, so clear of purpose and mind and decision making. And then I also got to see it, and this is a story I didn't tell yesterday but wanted to tell today. I got to see it during the Surfside collapse when the department and the USAR team specifically allowed one of their own to recover the body of their daughter from the rubble. And the reverence and the respect and the just incredible admiration for how they handled that devastating situation. And I remember getting to the scene, and as you know, you all remember in Surfside, this was handled by Surfside public officials, the county mayor, really little involvement from the city, other than having obviously our guys on the pile 12 hours a day, every day, right? But I remember getting there and thinking to myself, there's no one that's going to speak at this press conference. There is no one that's going to interfere with this. This is our family, and this is a moment for us to grieve in our way and handle it our way. And it just goes to, again, the culture, the class that this department has. And I know that every single member acknowledges these traditions, but also admires the men that lead this department. So without further ado, I want to call up Chief Z and his wife, who's here with him. No, you're going to stay back? Okay. Fair enough. Come on. Let me tell you something, Chief. I had hell to pay yesterday because my wife wasn't at the ceremony, so she was upset. So it's important that your wife participate. Pay for it now or pay for it later.
Me now?
Yes.
You don't want to say something?
You want a little time to. Well, so I had the benefit of attending a little lunch for, not so little, really, I guess, for Chief Z, and I had an opportunity to sort of express the gratitude that I have, especially early on, as I became city manager and we're faced with a pandemic, and we were spending all of our time in an emergency operations center for those first few months. Between Chief Z and obviously Robert Hevia, Bob, yeah, the amount of guidance, advice, they really helped me transition into the job tremendously. Those early sort of months, Chief Z was amazing in terms of giving me input, giving me guidance, helping me walk through what was expected in that time of crisis. That's true leadership, because he saw that it took a lot of people to pull us through that, right? And the quicker he got me up to speed, the quicker that our staff was really prepared to deal with that, the better we were in handling it. And he deserves a lot of credit for that, because he was really the tip of the spear in most of that process. And from that very moment in time early on, throughout our relationship, which has grown over the years, he has been a tremendous resource to me. Obviously, the legacy, the DNA he's imprinted on this department will last in perpetuity. Just look at the quality of his successor. That speaks to the culture, because Robert is an amazing professional, an amazing executive, an amazing leader. And that only happens when you have somebody at the very top, right, who conveys that culture and develops the people around him. And Chief, you're going to be severely missed. I wish you a lot of luck in your next sort of journey, next step in your life. You've talked a lot about what that's going to be like. I feel sorry for his wife, but really, heartfelt thanks.
Thank you.
You bet.
Good morning. Let me begin by saying thank you. Thank you for this distinct honor. Thank you for the recognition. Mayor, commissioners, Mr. Manager, executive staff, administrative staff, everybody. Thank you. Thank you so much for the experiences that I've had. I have had the pleasure of growing up in this department and in this city. I started here when I was 18 years old, right out of high school, and I'm in my 34th year now, and I would not change a thing about my life. The people that I have met, the relationships that I have developed, the things that I have learned that turned me into the person I am today, I owe that all to the city of Miami. Without the city of Miami, I honestly don't know where I would have been or what direction my life would have gone. This city has given me purpose. It has given me direction. It has given me all of the skills that I have needed to succeed in life. So I am indebted to all of you. I am indebted to this city. So I really don't know what to say other than thank you, thank you, thank you for the opportunity. I would also like to thank my wife for the support that she has given me and our children throughout this time, because you can imagine the demand of this job requires you to dedicate a tremendous amount of time, and there's nobody that's going to fill the gap better than a dedicated wife, and she did that. She was mom and dad all at once, and really, kept the household going while I was here, at work doing what we do. So, to my wife, thank you. To my new fire chief, Robert Hevia, and my executive staff. We all know, anybody who's spent any time doing this job knows that one individual does not make a difference. It takes a team, and that team has to all be thinking the same way, moving in the same direction, supporting each other, and picking up the slack when somebody overlooks something. That is what a true team does, and that is what this team has done for me. Some might even say, and I've heard them say it before, that sometimes they have to come behind me with a broom to clean up the mess that I leave in my wake. But that's what a team does, and they get the job done, and they take my vision, or they took my vision, and they turned it into something that was executable, and that, most importantly, made the lives of the city of Miami residents better, because that is the only reason we are here. We've said it time and time again, and my predecessor ingrained it in me as his predecessor ingrained it in him. The only reason for the existence of the City of Miami Fire Department is to serve the citizens of Miami. That has always been our focus. That will always be our focus, regardless of how many leaders we go through. That consistency that we have in this organization is paramount. And I'd like to leave the city with just one thought. You see what that teamwork, that teamwork that we have, you see how successful it can make an organization. You see how it can allow an organization to give the very best of itself to our residents. I'd like to say something on behalf of the directors. That is absolutely a sentiment. It's absolutely a philosophy that needs to be ingrained citywide for all of our directors. Because if you are worried about how long you're going to be here, or taking care of your family, or your safety and your security, you can't truly have the benefit of investing yourself 100% in this city, as we have the luxury of doing. So if we do anything moving forward, I think it would be important for us to recognize that if we give our directors the safety and security that they need, they will be able to come together as a team and do nothing but focus on the betterment of the community for the city of Miami residents. And I promise you, you will be amazed at the team you have put together, or the team you have supported and cultivated. And there will be nothing left for them to do but to execute the vision of the city manager, the mayor, the commissioners, and even be visionaries in their own right. So that being said, I'd like to thank you for the time that I've had here. It has been a true blessing to both me and my family, and I would like to say from the bottom of my heart to the core of my belief that you, the City of Miami residents, are in good hands with the next generation of leadership that we leave behind in Fire Chief Robert Hevia and the rest of the executive staff. Thank you.
Chief, if I could indulge you, I'd like to say just a few quick words. During all your years as our fire chief in the city of Miami, as good of a job that you did and the leadership that you had, you were only able to be as successful as you were because our fire department has a tremendous foundation. Like he said, we have built our own within our fire department so that each chief that we have had throughout our history has been able to come from within. And that's what's given our fire department the strength that it has. That it's just not one person, but it's a teamwork. But the one at the head, the one we call the fire chief, is the most important one. And in the years that I've known you, that I've worked with you, I'm not going to go on in describing all the positive things that the city needs to be grateful to you for, but I am going to concentrate on just one. The most trying moment that this city has faced, that no one knew truly what to expect. Everyone was in extreme fear. We had what is called the number 2 casualty with COVID, but he might have been the first one. Just the other one got noticed first. During that whole COVID ordeal, you stood out in your leadership, in your work ethics, along with your department, in a way that this city always has to be grateful to you. Because of the leadership you provided, many people, I dare to say, were saved and didn't have to die, like many died during that time, especially the elderly. I witnessed how you personally led our paramedics to go through each of our districts, through all the senior citizen housing, to make sure that our senior citizens that couldn't get out were going to be vaccinated, and so much more. The testing, the organizational skills that he took to accomplish all that and more, it was just tremendous. Few people in our country could have accomplished that. So, Chief, for that in particular, but for so much more too, I say thank you to you. The city owes you an eternal gratitude. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you too. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. Thank you. Thank you, guys. So before we get started, I just want to... Doesn't matter. What do you want to do first? Okay. Can I just say something before the prayer then? Before we pray, I'd like to ask for a moment of silence for a pastor that was recently murdered. Not thankfully in our city, but tragically in our community. A.D. Lenore. And he was someone who would come here often to the city, and that we helped, and actually would send me a daily prayer scripture, and in fact sent me a daily prayer scripture the very day that he passed. And so I just would like to have a moment of silence for him. Thank you. I'd also like to incorporate into the prayer a special petition for Commissioner Reyes, who has officially been declared in remission. So Our prayer is that that always be the case, right? So I'll now hand the mic.
And at this time, we are going to welcome Pastor Eric Doss of the Liberty City Church of Christ to lead us in prayer today.
Thank you so much. As Elizabeth Taylor said to her first 6 husbands, I'm not going to hold you long. But let us bow and go to God in prayer. To God the Father, God the Son, God the Holy Spirit, we come before your awesome throne, realizing that you're God and beside you there is no other. We are thankful for the invitation from the Honorable Christine King for the yeoman's job that she's doing here and all of our commissioners. Father, we're thankful that you blessed us to be a rainbow of workers who love you and who are trying to do the best for this city. Father, we pray to God that you'll look down upon us and give us your blessings, your providence, your grace, and above all, your mercy. Father, we realize we live in a world where folk would rather shoot you than shake your hand, rather cut you than kiss you. But Father God, we pray that we'll come together as one, realizing our gifts, realizing our wisdom, and realizing our tasks. Thank God for all of those who are workers, from the porters on the streets to those who legislate laws every day. For we're all trying to get to heaven, and we realize that we want to see you one day. For you've told us there's no disappointment in heaven. There are no weariness, sorrow, or pain. There are no hearts that are bleeding and broken. There are no songs with minor refrain. The hearts of our earthly horizon, the grief will never appear in that sky. For all will be sunshine and gladness, never a sob or a sigh. There'll be no thieves at our doorknobs, no funeral trains in the sky, no graves on the hillside of glory, for men shall never more die. And the old shall be young forever, transformed in a moment of time. The immortal shall stand in your likeness, the sun and the stars to outshine. We long for that beautiful city, Lord, that you prepared for your own, where the redeemed of all ages will sing glory because they're home. And sometimes we grow homesick for heaven and the joys that there shall behold. What a joy it will be when our Savior we see in that beautiful city of pure gold. All of these prayers and these blessings we ask on the government here. In the name of Jesus the Christ, let us all say amen.
Thank you, Pastor. And at this time, Commissioner Reyes, would you please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Madam City Attorney, would you please read your statement for the record?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Detailed information about the process, order of business, rules of procedure, scheduling or rescheduling of City Commission meetings can be found in Chapter 2, Article 2 of the City Code, a copy of which is available online at www.municode.com. Any person who is a lobbyist pursuant to Chapter 2, Article 6 of the City Code must register with the City Commission, with the City Clerk, and comply with related city requirements for lobbyists before appearing before the City Commission. A person may not lobby a city official, board member, or staff member until registering. A copy of the code section about lobbyists is available at the City Clerk's office or online at www.municode.com. Any person making a presentation, formal request, or petition to the City Commission concerning real property must make the disclosures required by the City Code in writing. A copy of this City Code section is available at the office of the City Clerk or online at www.municode.com. The City of Miami requires that anyone requesting action by the City Commission must disclose Before the hearing, any consideration provided or committed to anyone for agreement to support or withhold objection to the requested action pursuant to City Code Section 2-8. Any documents offered to the City Commission that have not been provided 7 days before the meeting as part of the agenda materials will be entered into the record as the City Commission's discretion. In accordance with Section 2-33F and G of the City Code, the agenda and the material for each item on the agenda is available during business hours at the City Clerk's office and online 24 hours a day at www.miamigov.com. Any person may be heard by the City Commission through the chair for not more than 2 minutes on any proposition before the City Commission unless modified by the chair. Public comment shall begin at approximately 10:10 and remain open until public comment is closed by the chair. Members of the public wishing to address the body may do so by submitting written comments via the online comment form. Please visit www.miamigov.com/meeting instructions for detailed instructions on how to provide public comment using the online public comment form. The comments submitted through the comment form have been and will be distributed to elected officials, their staff, and city administration throughout the day so that the elected officials may consider the comments before taking any action. Additionally, the online comment form will remain open during the meeting to accept comments and distribute to elected officials and their staff and the city administration up until the chair closes public comment. Public comment may also be provided live at City Hall, located at 3500 Pan American Drive, Miami, Florida, subject to any and all city rules as they may be amended. If the proposition is being continued or rescheduled, the opportunity to be heard may be at such later date before the City Commission takes action on such proposition. When addressing the City Commission, the member of the public must first state their name, their address, and what item will be spoken about. Any person with a disability requiring assistance, auxiliary aids, and services for this meeting may notify the City Clerk. The City has provided different public comment methods to indicate, among other things, the public's support, opposition, or neutrality on items and topics to be discussed at the City Commission meeting in compliance with Section 286.0114 Florida statutes. The public has been given the opportunity to provide public comment during the meeting and within reasonable proximity and time before the meeting. Please note, commissioners have been generally briefed by city staff and the city attorney's office on items on the agenda today. Anyone wishing a verbatim record of an item considered at this meeting may request it at the Office of Communications or view it online at www.miamigov.com. PZ items shall proceed according to Section 7.1.4 of the Miami 21 Zoning Ordinance. This meeting can be viewed live on Miami TV, the city's Facebook page, the city's Twitter page, the city's YouTube channel, and Comcast Channel 77. The broadcast will also have closed captioning. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam City Attorney. Mr. City Clerk, would you please read your statement for the record?
Thank you, Chair. The procedures for individuals providing testimony to be sworn in for planning and zoning items and any quasi-judicial items on today's City Commission agenda will be as follows. The members of city staff or any other individuals required to be sworn in or are currently present at City Hall will be sworn in by me, the City Clerk, immediately after I finish explaining these procedures. Those individuals who are appearing remotely may be sworn in now or at any time prior to the individual providing testimony for planning and zoning items and or quasi-judicial items. Commissioners, are you comfortable with all the notice provisions set forth in these uniform rules and procedures we have established for this meeting? Thank you, Chair. And if I may, I'm going to administer the oath for the planning and zoning item. If you'll be speaking on today's planning and zoning item, that is PZ1, if you're here to speak on agenda item PZ1, may I please have you stand and raise your right hand? Chair, I do not see anyone standing to have the oath administered for PZ1, so we will proceed with the remainder of the agenda.
Thank you, Mr. City Clerk. Mr. City Manager, are there any items that will be deferred or withdrawn from this agenda?
Good morning, Madam Chair, Commissioners, Madam City Attorney, Mr. City Clerk. At this time, the administration would like to defer and or withdraw the following items. RE9 to be deferred to May 23rd. SR4 to be deferred to May 9th. SR5 to be deferred to June 13th. And PZ1 to be deferred to July 25th. That concludes the items.
Thank you, Mr. City Manager. Mr. Vice Chair, do you have any items that you would like to defer or withdraw?
I do not at this time. However, when we bring up certain discussions later today, after I get questions answered by staff, I might bring up a pocket item at the time.
Okay, let me check with my Commissioner Gabella. Do you have any items that you would like to defer or withdraw?
No, not at this time.
Commissioner Pardo?
No.
Commissioner Reyes?
I just received this morning, you see the package for the union contracts. I haven't been able to read it. So I would like to defer RE4 and then RE5 until next meeting. You see, I believe that every time there is negotiations, we should be informed. We should be part of that negotiation because we are the ruling body. And as of today, I had not received any information whatsoever on the conditions and the terms of the contract. Doesn't mean that I'm against it, because I don't know, I haven't read it. But that I had any previous ideas how that was going to, how much or whatever. It is that I think it's total disrespect that us, city commissioners, that we receive the package with the conditions and terms of the contract, union contracts. Just like if they were a fait accompli before, just place it in the agenda and then we'll have to ratify it. I don't think that's the way to work. That's not the way to work. I think that we all should be informed and briefed in what it is in this package, which will take me more than 10 minutes to read it. And I'm not a slow reader.
10 minutes for that?
No. I will take more than 10 minutes. And I am not a slow reader. So I would like to defer them because I think it's a total lack of respect to me.
Is that a motion?
It's a motion.
Chair,
Second.
my apologies. I just want to make sure that.
Well, let's take up the other items. Let's set the other items and hold the request to defer RE4 and RE5. May I have a motion for the items that were identified through the city manager?
So moved.
Do I have a second? I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Now, with respect to RE4 and RE5, I can tell you, Commissioner, that I was fully briefed. I don't know about my colleagues, and it would be the will of my colleagues always. I have spoken to both parties, and they are ready to move forward. They are in agreement with this contract negotiations and what they have with the general service employees as well as FOP. And so I will, whatever the will of this body is.
Ma'am, if I may, I'm glad you were fully briefed. I wasn't. Yesterday, we received on April 10 at 11:36 p.m., we received this email. Maybe they thought that I was so sick that I wouldn't realize, I don't know what they thought, okay? But I believe that the same respect that was placed to you, it should be placed to all of us, you see? And we are all very much involved in the contracts, not only with our employees, with any contracts that the city is extending, that we should be aware of those contracts. And we should be briefed on them. And that is my opinion. If my colleagues wants to vote on it, I am telling you that I'm not going to vote for it because I have to be briefed before. And I might have some, maybe I don't like some of the or some questions about it, and I don't like some of the items that have been included in the contract. I might love all of them. I don't know. I haven't read it.
So do we have a motion?
I'll make the motion.
There was a motion by Commissioner Reyes, second by myself.
Okay, so I have a motion and a second.
I'd just like to add, Chair, that union contracts, no matter how long or how short they are, they take a major part of our budget. And each member of this body should feel comfortable enough that they have been able to read everything on the contract, that they have been able to be briefed fully and ask whatever questions they might have or not before they vote on it. It's responsibility of each member of this body to do that, and this is why I very much have seconded the motion by Commissioner Reyes. It's being responsible in doing that.
So I think the city clerk has a question.
And just for clarification, that is a deferral until April 25th. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Understood.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously.
And then, Chair, my apologies briefly. For the order of the day, I have some sponsor and co-sponsor requests. Commissioner Reyes would like to co-sponsor RE14. Mayor Suarez and Commissioner King would like to be shown as co-sponsors for RE22. Commissioner King would like to be shown as a sponsor for FR1. And Commissioner King would like to be shown as a sponsor for FR2. Thank you, Chair.
Okay. I would also like to defer FR3 until the first meeting in May.
That will be May 9th.
May I have a motion to defer FR3?
Motion.
I have a motion and a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. And at this time, we are going to open the floor for public comment. Please step to each lectern, 5 at a time so we don't create a fire hazard. And when you speak, please identify the item for which you are speaking.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
could you please clarify for the public what our rules are in public speaking?
I believe our city attorney said that. You have 2 minutes to speak. Give your name, address, and the item for which you will be speaking on. And you can speak on any item before this body on the agenda today. Okay. Good morning.
Good morning. Brenda Betancourt, 1436 Southwest 6th Street. Just in support of both and the PH1 and PH2, even though I'm not 100% sure if they're already in for today's agenda. In the same time, I just want to thank you all because my board has 6 members that are showing up every meeting, so that's mean co-enforcement is moving forward. And I just want a little request for the 5 of you. We have seniors that show up in our board. Unfortunately, they doesn't have the way or means how to clean up the properties or extra garbage they might have accumulated. And I hope that every single one of you are able to give us a hand for those who volunteers to clean up those houses for those seniors. If it's possible, if you have a little bit of room and for your employees that have, they help us with the cleanup, I really appreciate it. The city always has been there, and our board members are very active, and we're trying to help those that doesn't have no more family members and they need help. So I hope that you guys can have that open door as always for us to be able to reach out to you guys and give us a hand, and we get volunteers. But maybe if it's too much trash and they need an extra, maybe pickup, that you guys can be able to provide us a system. And I think I really appreciate it. We're really acting District 5 and District 4 are the ones that were more lately have shown up. So we hope that you guys and your own district be able to give us a hand for those seniors that doesn't have anybody to help them. So thank you so much and have a nice weekend.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning, Madam Chairwoman, Commissioners. Valerie Riles, Agent R Center, 1300 Biscayne Boulevard. I'd like to yield my time to the Chairman of our Board, Richard Milstein.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Madam Chairwoman, Commissioners, thank you very much. I'm here today on SR2 and SR3. I'm Richard Milstein. I'm Chair of the Adrian R. Center Trust at 1300 Biscayne Boulevard. We've been here through several meetings, so today I'm not going to repeat what's been said. I'm going to talk from my heart. I'm a product of the Miami-Dade Public Schools. I graduated from Miami-Dade Junior College. I went to University of Miami undergraduate and University of Miami Law School. After graduating law school, I had the opportunity to leave this community, but I didn't, as many of my friends did, and create a brain drain. I chose to stay because I saw an opportunity in this vibrant, futuristic city. And that's why I'm here today. I've remained, so now as the chair, as you can see, now I'm the chair of the Arts Center Board after over 40 years of having attended the first meeting to determine whether or not we could have a performing arts center. They said it might not be done. You build it and they will come, and people have come. Today I speak on behalf of our residents who deeply feel about the community and the needs of the arts. Some of our residents are here today. You do not hear from the residents that love this community and its growth. It's a natural phenomenon that we hear from the people that are not happy with something, and they're more vocal than we are. But today, today and our previous meetings, we have shown that our community is interested in the arts and interested in culture. So let me speak on behalf of some statistics from what the Arts Center has done for this community. The Arts Center annually serves over 400,000 residential and visiting patrons, generating an annual economic impact of $52.5 million, creating 1,600 local jobs. In a typical year, the center employs over 600 people, as well as additional subcontractors, and presents over 4,000 artists. More than 50% are local. The Arts Center is the first performing arts center to have paid interns. We have an apprentice program which, upon conclusion, gives the apprentices a union card to work on the all-important behind-the-scenes needs. Since opening in 2006, the center has driven more than $1 billion in new public and private investments in downtown Miami, including 2 major museums, forming a cultural dynamic. While the Arts Center seeks to serve all members of Miami-Dade County, we do target specific communities and the groups with programming to encourage participation in untapped constituencies by eliminating geographical and financial limitations. We also do more than 100 performances off campus across the county. The Arts Center also provides hundreds of complimentary tickets to local nonprofits and youth organizations to eliminate financial stress. In addition, we have 80,000 students come through our doors between K and 12 every year. We have access to the arts for youth and adults of all abilities, Free Gospel Sunday, the Heritage Program, the Juneteenth Program celebration, Ailey Camp, Jazz Roots Sound Check, Family Fest, Arts on the Road. The center is downtown Miami, and within a county of about 2.7 million people, we typically attract 20 million residents tourists and visitors to our country, to our county, I should say. Many are drawn because of our cultural community. The importance of the exposure and the revenue from the signage we're talking about is instrumental for the Arts Center and the cultural community to continue to thrive and educate. Today, I'm asking you to please approve the signage by permitting the installation of the Arts Center campus with the signage as accepted. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning, Madam Chair, Commissioners. My name is Spencer Crowley, 98 Southeast 7th Street. I'm here today in my capacity as a Miami-Dade County Commissioner to the Florida Inland Navigation District, where I also serve as Chair. We want to express our support for 2 items today on the City Commission agenda. SR 7 which is a second reading of an ordinance that basically harmonizes the due process period for removal of derelict vessels with the state time periods. That should help make this process run smoother. And we're also here supporting RE 15, which is an item that authorizes the city to apply for $200,000 from fine for derelict vessel removal. This is an increase over a previous item that you heard last month. We were able to work with the city staff to increase that amount of money. So we're here supporting those two items. While I'm here, I also want to mention that we have two other small-scale grant programs that I want to make sure you all are aware of. One is a small-scale derelict vessel removal. It's $75,000. It can be used in a shorter time period and for emergency purposes. That grant is expiring later this summer, so I hope the city will come and apply for that. There's certainly a need. The other is a small-scale spoil island restoration grant, $60,000 that can be used to clean up trash and maintain the spoil islands in Biscayne Bay. So thank you for your support, and look forward to working with you all.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning, Chairwoman King, Commissioners. My name is Monique McCartney, and my Adrian Arch Center address is 1300 Biscayne Boulevard. I respectfully yield my time to our President and CEO, Johan Seetzman, to speak on items SR2 and SR3. Thank you.
Good morning, Chairwoman. Good morning, Commissioners. My name is Johan Seetzman. I'm the President and CEO of the Adrian Arch Center, 1300 Biscayne Boulevard. Thank you for the opportunity to speak, and I urge you to vote against SR2 and SR3. Okay? During our previous presentations, we stated very clearly that our proposed digital signs were in full compliance with all the current requirements of FDOT, the county, and the city of Miami. We were also clear about our commitment to ensure the signs do not shine into residential units, which are more than 500 feet away and on the opposite side of the new Signature Bridge, which will emit far more light than our signs can. Compared to the vehicle lights, the surrounding murals, and lit buildings, our signs are insignificant in terms of lighting, as you can see in the image. However, we heard the concerns, and in response to some of the comments we heard, we submitted a compromise proposal to the chair that reduces the size of the signs from the allowable 1,500 square feet to 1,300 square feet. It would limit the hours of operations at night. We offered it would go dark at 2 a.m., but after some discussions with some commissioners, we agreed to go dark at midnight. We also will control the light emission. We will also guarantee that the arch will have more content on it and limit the types of content on the signs to ensure that there's no controversial or potentially unsavory content. These are all clear requirements in our compromise proposal. We submitted these compromises in good faith, hoping that members of the Commission would consider it in the same spirit. The Arch Center has been a good neighbor and a community builder for 18 years, as you heard from our chair, and we are committed to continue being worthy of our position as a prime cultural destination. Our application is in pursuit of that commitment. The additional exposure from these signs will attract attention to our world-class work. Feedback from a recent survey shows that a majority of those surveyed are not aware of all the excellent, diverse, and community-focused work we do. We are proud of that work, and these signs will bring much-needed exposure. The additional revenue generated from these signs will go directly to support the sustainability and the expansion of our education and community engagement work, for which the Arch Center is known nationally. In this post-COVID era, it is challenging to develop new and sustainable revenue streams for community work. Revenue from these signs is a creative way to address that need. Agreeing to SR2 and SR3 would stop unwanted signs in sensitive areas such as parks and residential areas, but it would also cause the unintended and destructive termination of our ability to gain more exposure and revenue. Our proposal brings many positive results, and none of the negative concerns applies to our sign. We ask you respectfully to allow us to complete this worthy project by voting against SR2 and SR3. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning, Madam Chairman and members of the board. I'm Dr. Marvin Dunn. My address is 8541 Southwest 181 Street, Palmetto Bay, Florida. I am here to ask your support for the Overtown Community Garden that we established on a vacant lot on Northwest 3rd Avenue to grow food to give away to members of the community and also to give away history books and literature to the community as well. I did send the members of the board some photographs of our site and a request that the board support our work in Overtown. We're trying to hire 3 people full-time and expand our garden to a 2-acre site that's being offered to us by a developer. So we'd appreciate your support and any direction as to how we should proceed to make this a formal request. I would appreciate that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning, Madam Chairwoman, members of the Commission. My name is Jay Salowski. I reside at 2127 Brickell Avenue here in Miami, where I've been a resident since 1976. I am here individually and in my capacity as Vice President of Brickell Homeowners Association, and I stand before you in opposition to SR2 and SR3. The original meeting for the first reading, I read to you and filed in the record a letter from BHA, which I will read into the record once again. I write this letter on behalf of the Brickell Homeowners Association to communicate our support for the media installations at the Perez Art Museum and Adrian Arsh Center. As passionate members of downtown, we are eager for projects that enhance the neighborhood, amplify the impact of public art, promote the programming within the arts institutions, and generate revenue to fund arts and culture. Further, the renderings that we have received of the projects were creative, aesthetically appealing, and fit well with the ethos of each organization. We also appreciate that the proposed projects meet the illumination requirements in the code and will not create light impact on the neighboring buildings. Please allow this letter to serve as our endorsement of both the PAM and the ARSH. We oppose SR2 and SR3. And individually, I tell you, as someone who has litigated for 45 years, you don't have the facts, you don't have the law. As Abraham Lincoln said, a settlement is the adversary resolution of an adverse conflict. We ask that you engage in that process and not cost the citizens of Miami what could amount to $100 million or more in damages suffered not only by the PAM and ARSH, but by the vendor before you. It's a little late in the game to change the rules. These are just about out there. They're vested. We urge you to do this. Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning. My name is Jesus Emmanuel Villarreal. I'm a Miami resident at 5261 Southwest 3rd Street here in Miami. I'm here to speak in opposition to SR2 and SR3 and to communicate my support for the media installation at Perez Art Museum. Being both a resident and an artist of Miami, I'm deeply entrenched in the Miami's cultural scene. I'm enthusiastic about initiatives that enrich our community, elevate the presence of public art, bolster the activities within artistic institutions, and contribute to the financial backing of the arts and culture. I kindly urge you to cast your votes against SR2 and SR3. Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning. My name is Dr. Jeff Dorfman. I live at 2020 North Bayshore Drive. I am treasurer and board member of Biscayne Neighborhoods Association. Downtown Miami is a residential neighborhood that has a waterfront park with museums. It is not Times Square. Biscayne Neighborhoods Association and Downtown Neighborhoods Alliance, collectively representing over 12,000 local apartments, the Downtown Development Authority, and the Frost Museum of Science oppose these oversized outdoor advertising signs. They are not necessary. The city of Miami has been consistently plagued by undue influence of money. This ordinance was introduced in 2023 by Alex Diaz de la Portilla when there was no District 2 commissioner. He received significant contributions from outdoor advertising special interests. He was later arrested on charges of money laundering, bribery, criminal conspiracy, and illegal compensation for official acts. There is an opportunity to further compromise on this oversized outdoor sign issue. BNA and DNA and others must be part of this discussion. Otherwise, we are prepared to undertake all legal and forensic accounting means to stop it. Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning. My name is Beatrice Gonzalez, Director of Lotus House, located at 217 Northwest 15th Street. Commissioner Reyes, congratulations on the progress to your health. We're happy to hear. I'm speaking on item RE7, obviously in support of the consideration for funding for Lotus House. Today, we're sheltering approximately 520 women and children, and we operate at that capacity on a nightly basis, with more than half being children and more than 35% under the age of 4 years old. We are so grateful to the City of Miami for the ongoing support and funding. We urge you to please vote yes on item RE7 so that we can continue our life-changing work. As Commissioner Carollo mentioned, the pandemic has changed a lot in our landscape, and it has deeply impacted families in our community and will continue to impact them until they can recover financially. We have to unfortunately turn away women and children every day due to an overwhelming need, and this funding is critical so that we can continue to uplift the lives of the most vulnerable. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning. My name is Mark Rosenblum, Chief Operating Officer, Perez Art Museum, Miami, PAM, 1103 Biscayne Boulevard, Miami, 33132. I'm here today in opposition of SR2 and SR3. The theme of my previous visits was to remind this commission of how much we at the Art Museum appreciate our 40-year relationship with this city, how valuable it is to have a partner like PAM in District 2, how material our impact has been on the growth of this community. I thank you for working with us and understanding our needs as we recently delivered a plan to members of this commission and hope for consensus around a compromised outcome. We are obviously very concerned about the impact these items would have on our fully approved and near completed sign. We urge the commission to reject the current versions and amend the language to allow us to finish the project. PAM and its partner OBM have been in good faith from the start, following the requirements of the city and the state. The city ordinance allowing us a clear path was approved more than a year ago, January 2023. The building permit was issued in October, and tremendous efforts have been made to deliver an outcome that will accomplish the following: connect PAM to the many communities it serves, amplify the tremendous work and success of our institution, and most importantly, sustainability, allowing the museum a dedicated source to fund present and future capital expenses. In summary, thank you all in advance for finding a way to move forward together and for your continued support of the arts and Miami's flagship museum.
Thank you. Good morning.
Great morning, Chairwoman Christine King, to the entire commission, and to all those that are present and to all those that are not present. Salute you and give great honor to each of you. My name is Mr. Patrick C. Jackson. I am a proud resident, new resident, at 1501 Northwest 62nd Avenue, apartment 104. And I live in a property that is known as the residence at Martin Luther King. Today I'm speaking on behalf of myself, and I'm speaking on behalf of, when I come to this City Hall building, the lack of customer service that I receive. So my words are not pleasant words, but they are words of my experiences. When I'm a U.S. Marine veteran,
Pastor, what item are you speaking on?
I'm speaking on customer service. I was informed that I could have 2 minutes to speak.
On any item before us, before the commission.
So, Chairwoman,
Go right ahead. Go right
understood. Thank you. I want to give an example of the community that I live in, which is in Liberty City or in Overtown. My community, these are just about 8 different police cards that I've had to call, and because my car has been broken in, and the list goes on. I'm not going to spend all my time discussing all of that. And my community is underserved because it's in Liberty City, Overtown, etc. And when I come here to conduct professional business, I'm greeted very rudely by a security guard. I'm greeted very rudely because the first thing they begin to do is speak Spanish, and I don't speak Spanish. I'm treated very rudely because they said I have to have a meeting, and I'm able to prove that I have a meeting. Then I asked to speak to the city manager 3 weeks later, and they feel as if that I don't deserve the right to speak to the city manager. Well, I believe in the city of Miami. I'm from St. Louis, Missouri. And Missouri, we're from the Show Me State. And I'm not here to prove anything, but Miami is extremely rude. And it begins at the top.
Thank you.
And I am here to express that. And thank you, Madam Chairwoman. I'm a man under authority. I served 10 years in the United States Marine Corps, 2 combat tours. I suffer from no mental illness, and I'm grateful to serve, and it's an honor to be here today.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning. My name is Therese Vento, General Counsel of the Paris Art Museum, Miami, 1103 Biscayne Boulevard. I'm here today in opposition to agenda items SR2 and 3 as they are currently worded. I am also quoting Abraham Lincoln, who was a renowned trial lawyer as well as a revered president of the United States. A good settlement is better than a good lawsuit. Those seem to be good words for this commission to live by when it comes to the digital sign that Pam has erected in reliance on this commission's sign ordinance of more than a year ago. In the past several commission meetings, Pam and Arsh have highlighted the significant financial harm they will suffer if the existing sign ordinance is repealed without grandfathering them, and the legal exposure of the city is obvious. When parties are looking for a compromise that avoids litigation, each side gives in a little to find that sweet spot that allows them to live with the result and wisely allows them to preserve a healthy relationship for the long run. Pam believes that what several members of the commission have asked of Pam, to work together with the commission to find that sweet spot, and in good faith, Pam has done so. Pam has suggested compromises on the issue of content of its sign, its brightness, and hours of operation. It is now this commission's turn to act in good faith by accepting those compromises and carving out Pam and Arsh from the proposed digital sign ordinance and the moratorium regarding signs. The moratorium is just a sly backdoor way of doing what the sign ordinance does from the front door, preventing Pam from getting the authorization necessary to activate its existing sign. Pam respectfully requests that the wisdom of Abraham Lincoln be followed, and both Pam and Arsh digital signs be specifically accepted out of both of the moratorium and the sign ordinance, because a good settlement between these parties is better for the city than defending against a good lawsuit. Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning, Madam Chairwoman, to all of the honorable commissioners. My name is Richard P. Dunn II. I live at 1895 Northwest 57th Street, right in the city of Miami. I'm here to speak on item RE 14, and I want to commend you, Madam Chairwoman, for your insight and your vision for recognizing a former citizen and former commissioner of this august body to be recognized and having an area renamed after him in the late, great Reverend Dr. Edward T. Graham. I'm here on many fronts. I actually grew up with his grandsons who are here. My father and his son-in-law, Dr. Graham's son-in-law, and my father were very close friends, and now we all share the camaraderie of being part of the greatest fraternity in the world, the Omega Psi Phi Fraternity, Inc. So I'm honored to be here, and also he served in many capacities, not just in the city, but also as a Miami-Dade County Commissioner, and he was responsible for bringing Florida Memorial University, which was then college, from St. Augustine, Florida to Miami, Florida, when he served as the chairman of the board of trustees for them. I want to salute and congratulate Commissioner Manolo Reyes. God is good, and he still does hear and answers prayer. And also to all of my friends, Commissioner Pardo, all of you, God bless you, and I hope that you will follow our chairwoman's lead on supporting this very, very well-deserving honor in recognition of the late, great Reverend Dr. Edward T. Graham.
Good morning.
Good morning. My name is Robert Toffolo. I'm the Chief Financial Officer at the Perez Art Museum, 1103 Biscayne Boulevard, Miami 33132. Today, I'm speaking in opposition to agenda items SR2 and SR3 unless we can reach a compromise that preserves the digital sign currently under construction on PAM's campus. PAM has made the strategic decision to diversify our revenue streams, and this project will contribute to the sustainability of the museum and allow us to continue our mission into the future. We firmly believe that PAM is an integral part of the downtown community, enriching the city's cultural landscape through our diverse programming and events. The initiatives we offer contribute to making the arts accessible to all residents of Miami. The digital sign gives us great enthusiasm and anticipation. Its design reflects our commitment to innovation and creativity, serving as a beacon for arts and culture in our city. I ask you to stand with us in support of the arts and culture by opposing SR2 and SR3 as written. Thank you again for your time. Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning, Commissioners, Madam Attorney, City Manager, and staff. I'm here today for my address is 500 North West 2nd Avenue, Miami, Florida. I enjoy living in the city of Miami. And what I'm here today is to talk about RE6, RE7, that talks about getting unsheltered families and children into a shelter, getting them into a place of safety. My name is Chaplain Young. I'm one of the chaplains that walk the streets of Miami, and I talk to the homeless, I talk to the mentally ill, I talk to those who are suffering from substance abuse, to try to get them into the shelters, try to get them into treatment centers, trying to get them into mental health. I do this on a weekly basis. So I'm excited that the city of Miami is now stepping up to shelter these unsheltered individuals because they need your help. They may not be able to come down here and tell you their story. That's why I'm here, to let you know that they need your help. They need your assistance in helping them get off the streets. There are a lot that want to get off the streets, but you know and I know that the shelters are full. So we need to step up to develop more affordable housing, more shelters to get them off the street so we don't have to bury or have any one of these men and women. I spoke to a mother just yesterday.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning, Commissioners. Thank you for having us here. I was glad to be here today to hear the outgoing police chief. That was a memorable speech. I've heard a lot of them down. I've been coming down here a long time. So it was great to hear. And if he runs for commissioner, whatever district he's in, we should vote for him. Anyway, I was going to speak about other issues, but I'm going to speak on SR2 and SR3. I'm in support of them. And here's why. I was when one of the speakers stood up and said, we're willing to compromise to go to 1,350 feet, I was looking at the wall behind you, Commissioner King, Chairwoman King. That's about 20 feet wide between those two sconces. From where you're sitting up to the roof is about 30 feet. That's 600 square feet. So their compromise would be twice the size of the wall behind you, going up twice as high between those two sconces. That's the size of their compromise that they're proposing for their signs. I don't think anybody in their right mind wants signs in our city that are twice the size of that wall behind you between those two sconces. I mean, turn around and look at it. It's incredible that that is the compromise that's being proposed. In the future, though, what the chief was really saying is, even if something's isn't illegal, doesn't make it right. We rely on our commission to do what's right. Your staff is in charge of making sure you don't vote on anything that isn't legal, but your duty is much more than that. And thank you very much for having us today. Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning, Chairwoman King, Commissioners, Ms. City Attorney and City Manager. Christine Rupp, Executive Director at Dade Heritage Trust. I'm here speaking in support of RE 13, which recommends further oversight when it comes to the city's historically designated buildings. And I'm certain this is in response to the historic Dupuis building in Little Haiti that suffered demolition by neglect. I can tell you that the city's historic preservation ordinance is quite strong, and the city does have tools in its toolbox already to assist in assuring that these conditions don't happen again. Certainly staffing is an issue in assuring that the preservation office is staffed properly to be able to provide oversight and ensure compliance with agreements that already exist. And I want to let you know that Dade Heritage Trust, within its expertise and connectivity in the preservation community, will be happy to work with staff when it comes to policies and procedures that would assist in this policy recommendation. Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning.
John Dolson, 4205 Lenox Drive, Coconut Grove, Florida. I'm here in support of RE 20, SR 3, and DI 1. First place, Andy Parrish said it really well on the size of those billboards. That's insane. We don't need things that big around here, and I'd prefer not to have this city look like Times Square. Everybody you see talking in favor of those oversized billboards have a vested interest. It's not the citizens of Miami. I'll move on from that. In terms of RE 20, we have something to celebrate yesterday. Yesterday, a federal judge struck down the gerrymandering that was done by prior commissioners that benefited personally two of our commissioners. And our city attorney, through that whole process over a period of 3 years, continued to aid and abet that process, which has been struck down. And thankfully, we're going to get a new boundary for boundaries in this commission. So I think it's time for the city commissioner to just move on, okay? And Mr. Noriega, when you get a chance today, I'm hoping you'll shed light on some of the things that look a little shady going on with this commission. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning, Madam Chair and City Commissioners. My name is Terrell Fritz, the Executive Director of the Flagler Business Improvement District, and I live at 111 East Flagler Street in downtown Miami. On behalf of the board of the Flagler District bid, I would like to strongly support the repeal of the outdoor signage provisions, and especially to thank you for, at first reading, striking the Olympia Theater from the list of approved locations. The Olympia Theater is a historic treasure in downtown Miami, and any and all future signage on that building needs to understand the architectural, incorporate that as part of that, and help us celebrate that fine historical and cultural institution in downtown Miami. So I thank you for your support.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning, Debbie Dolson, 4205 Lenox Drive, Coconut Grove. I'd like to speak on RE20, SR3, and DI1. First of all, I support the appointment of John A. Greco as city attorney. 8 years ago, I was in this very room with probably a few other people who are here today, but none of you were commissioners at that time. And Ken Russell brought an agenda item to the floor documenting his desire to remove our city attorney, Victoria Mendez. That was 8 years ago. And at that time, that did not pass at that particular meeting, but in the 8 ensuing years, we still have questions. There are swirling accusations and issues that have never gone away. So I think it's time to replace Victoria Mendez, and I would like you to support RE20. Similarly, Mr. Noriega also is surrounded by, a swirl of questions that affect the trust of the residents. And I think that's something very, very important when you discuss that. And in both of these situations, character counts. Billboards, how many times do residents have to come up and talk about quality of life? We have codes for a reason. And the gentleman that got up earlier talking about how the billboard would attract attention, that's not a good thing. I was down there driving yesterday. We don't need a billboard bigger than my house, probably twice as big as my house, attracting the attention of drivers. That is not safe. We have safety concerns, and that is a huge one. So please take that into consideration. Thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning, Chairman King, Commissioners. My name is Peter Ehrlich, 243 Northeast 59 Terrace in Lemon City, and I'm here to speak on SR2 and SR3. I'm a board member of the Urban Environment League and a co-founder of Scenic Miami, and I'm also on the Virginia Key Advisory Board, although I'm not here in that capacity. I'm here as a citizen asking you to do everything you can to oppose billboards. Billboards are visual pollution. LED billboards are the absolute worst form of visual pollution. Tourists and residents do not come to South Florida to be distracted by ads and signs, particularly LED ads that change every 6 or 8 seconds. We hope you'll do everything you can to stop the proposed billboard that's going up at the moment on the Frey Park, adjacent to the Perez Art Museum. It's absolutely horrendous. It's massive, massive size. It's clearly illegal or should be found illegal. If the Florida Department of Transportation weighs in on the matter, and we think they will, we hope they will. And in the meantime, please do everything you can to pass the legislation SR2 and SR3 and everything you can to oppose billboards, particularly the absolutely disgusting LED billboards. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for having me. My name is Aaron DeMeo, resident at 133 Northeast 2nd Avenue. I'm here in my capacity from the city's Climate Resilience Committee, of which I'm the chair, and we passed a resolution discussing the transition to electric leaf blowers, which also came before you at the last meeting when it was deferred pretty late into the evening. I won't be able to stay all day, but my responsibility in that capacity is to be here for the item. If you could move it earlier in the morning, I'd greatly appreciate it. We've had 27 public comments at our committee, all in favor of this resolution, and there were also public comments at the last commission in favor of it. It's because there's a lot of benefits toward a transition to electric leaf blowers. There's greenhouse gas emissions reductions. Despite the small size, they actually emit quite a bit. There's also fine particulate that comes out in that exhaust, which is so small that when we breathe it in, it can go into our bloodstream and negatively affect us. There's also the loud noise. Higher decibel ratings can affect human health. And then there's already numerous examples of options that you can buy off the shelf right now. Our city operations already utilizes them. When I was walking in today, the restaurant next door was utilizing an electric leaf blower to clean their facility. It's pretty simple to transition. there is a preemption that may pass from the state,
That's what
but that shouldn't stop us from still making other options. So for instance, our city operations already utilizes a lot of electric leaf blowers, and what I'd request today is a little bit amended from this, is perhaps looking into how city operations can continue to transition should they see fit. Maybe also ask staff to look into what other municipalities have already done and prepare that if that preemption does not occur, or when it expires, that we're prepared to move forward on that. And then lastly, maybe there could also be a small program where you select a couple local private sector lawn care companies and let them utilize some electric ones and see how they like it. Thank you all for your time today.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning, Madam Chair, Commissioners. Mike Llorente, LSN Law, 3800 Northeast 1st Avenue, representing out front. Madam Chair, Commissioners, it's not easy to fix mistakes in public view, and I commend this body for having the courage to fix a mistake by approving item SR2. The conversation on signs has been messy. There have been requests for carve-outs and threats of litigation, but there's something important that I think has been lost in the conversation. And that is that a lot of the conversation has focused on two signs that are illusory. They can't be built. They are far outside the city's zoning regulation and authority. Two of the three proposed signs are at the Arts Center. The Arts Center is zoned RTZ, and what that means is that the city does not control what is built or what is permitted at that site. The county does. So there can be no carve-out, there can be no sign at the Arts Center. There's another problem with the Arts Center, which is that the owner of the Arts Center, Miami-Dade County, owns the land and the improvements, has not authorized anybody to build anything at that site. Under the Arts Management Agreement, Board of County Commission approval is required for a project like the one being discussed here in this chamber. The Arts Signs commissioners and the litigation threats tied to them are illusory. I want to give one final note on the PAM sign, which, as we all know, is being constructed as we speak, also without the landowner's consent and also in violation of a lease agreement. Orange Barrel can't turn on that sign without getting a city sign permit. And that city sign permit includes an affirmation from Orange Barrel and PAM that they have no vested rights and that the city is indemnified. So in conclusion, Commissioners, we ask you to adopt item SR3 and right the wrong, fix the mistake. Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning, Madam Commissioner, Commissioners. My name is Eric Kurzman. I'm a longtime resident of City of Miami, District 5. I'm appearing in my capacity as General Counsel of the Adrian Arts Center. Address is 1300 Biscayne Boulevard, Miami 33132. I'd like to address certain inaccuracies raised during today's public comment session. Recently, the county sought clarification on a few matters through a letter to the Arts Center, to which we promptly responded. First, Arts Center has the explicit authority under its operating agreement with the county to enter into license agreements for advertisement services with third-party vendors. Second, county approval is not a prerequisite for entering into the license agreement for two digital signs on our campus, given that no capital expenditure will be necessary from the Arts Center. Third, the procurement of these signs adhered strictly to and actually exceeded the Arts Center's procurement policy, a policy duly approved by the County Commission. And last, the county issued a zoning verification letter explicitly stating that the approvals and regulation of the two digital signs on our campus would fall under the jurisdiction of City of Miami and its code of ordinances, irrespective of the Arts Center's RTZ zoning designation. In conclusion, I want to clarify that the county did not inform us of any violations of county code, our operating agreement, or our procurement policy. We were only asked to provide clarifying information. I also want to reaffirm that the Arts Center is in full compliance with all pertinent regulations and agreements. As such, this should not be a point of concern for you all as you deliberate on the proposed amendment to 2779 of the City Code today. So I'm in opposition to SR2 and SR3. Thank you all for your time.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning. Cecilia Tavera, 2 Grovile Drive, apartment 1405, Coconut Grove, 33133. I'm speaking against the billboards. And, you know, we live in a beautiful place. We live in a gorgeous place. Why do we want to ruin it like that? That's number one. Then I want to tell Mr. Pardo, thank you, Commissioner Pardo, for at last I feel represented in the city of Miami after living here for so many years. And I support the removal of the city attorney as soon as possible. And I would love clarification on all the accusations on the city manager. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning. My name is Jose Felix Diaz, and my address is 2 Alhambra Plaza, Coral Gables, Florida, and I represent the Agent Arch Center. Today I speak in reference to the famous SR2, the 270-day moratorium for signs under Section 2-779 of the City Code. I have read the proposed ordinance and am concerned the language as constructed would present major issues for signs which are vested, like the ARCH and the PAM. While it was always my understanding that the moratorium was meant to be forward-looking, the current language specifically states that certificates of use may not be issued. This could be interpreted by some to mean the city may not issue post-construction certificates of use for signs that are permitted or in the process of being permitted, like PAM and ARCH. I do not think it was the Commission's intent to stop those signs from getting their certificates of use, and request that on the moratorium, the Commission strike the term certificate of use. As you will hear today from many people, as you have heard, the ARCH and the PAM have agreed to several concessions concerning the signage on their campus, including a significant reduction of the signs at the ARCH from 1,800 square feet to 1,500 square feet, restricting operating hours, adherence to brightness standards, and content regulation at both facilities. We are hopeful and optimistic that should the Commission proceed with an amended version of Section 2-779, then the need for the moratorium would become moot. While it falls within the body's authority to amend the code and restrict the installation of new signs in Bayfront Park or any areas within the city, I ask that this Commission please refrain from infringing upon the rights of PAM and ARCH. Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning.
Denise Galvez. I reside at 2130 Southwest 20th Street in Miami, Florida. I want to speak on RE13 first and foremost. Thank you so much for finally bringing to the attention of our commissioners historic preservation. I serve on the Historic Preservation Board, and I can tell you that one of the things that we could do immediately is all the commissioners could support a resolution requiring that if they're going to overturn a decision of the Historic Preservation Board, that it require a supermajority instead of a simple majority, because we all serve. There's experts on our board. We all volunteer our time, and it's really disrespectful that our commission many times overturns our decisions. So that's something that you could do very quickly. Crying after the fact about buildings that haven't been preserved. That's happening all over the city. That requires additional staff on the HEP board. If you can do that, I would greatly appreciate that as well. I do not think that our city manager should oversee anything that has to do with historic preservation, considering he's the reason why Viernes Culturales, the organization that's been around for 24 years in Little Havana, who's been preserving the area, he cut them off at the leg, he himself, with one fell swoop. So I don't think Mr. Noriega should be overseeing anything that has to do with historic preservation. Obviously, his ethics and his integrity are in question, and therefore we should look at possibly removing him. I also support the removal of our city attorney. She's also in question. For years, she's been providing legal advice to our city that only benefits Mr. Carroyo. Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning. My name is Evan Newstadter. I live at 2150 North Bayshore Drive in Miami, very close to the Arch Center. I go past it every single day. I don't have a prepared statement or anything like that. I just want to speak in opposition to SR 2 and 3. The billboards are artistic designs. They are not in the way of any particular residential buildings. The lights are 500 feet minimum from any other residential area. Plus, the bridge that it's going to be next to is going to be significantly brighter and way more of a distraction than any billboard, which, by the way, brings money to a crucial art part of our city. I go to the Art Center for shows all the time. They're great. It's one of my favorite parts of living in the Edgewater neighborhood. I go down there, see world-class performances that make this city so special. The same goes for the PAM. We have world-class art, we have world-class performances, and to restrict a source of funding that is really not going to cause any other significant issues, I think is a mistake. The PAM and ARST already have vested rights in this. To remove it now is just a mistake. So please vote against SR2 and SR3. Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning. You can still go there. You just don't need the big billboard sign telling you to go there. Just want to point that out. A couple things here. Good morning. James Torres, President of the Downtown Neighbors Alliance. And I'm going to kind of point out very factual information. Downtown Neighbors Alliance is against. Biscayne Neighbors Association is against. The Downtown Development Authority, which is a quasi-agency in which you're the chair, is against. The Frost Museum, which are here today and have been coming to this meeting, is against. The interesting piece of the Frost, they're neighbors to the PAM, less than 500 feet away. Just want to clarity. Everyone's been talking about that these signs are not going to impact the residents. I asked the board, do you guys live downtown? Probably not. That's the reality. The DNA has actively been asking all of these folks to sit down at the table to address these items. Exactly what you have always done since I've known you. Come to the table, show me. There's been one billboard company that has done that. The rest have not. They're selling you smoke and mirrors. The other thing, with all due respect, Chairwoman, in the last meeting you made a comment that the Kaseya Center, the Miami Heat, that no one is upset about that. I can tell you and stand here before you and tell you that the DNA took a proactive approach with the Kaseya Center and we addressed that. How did we address it? The luminance are turned down at night. They actually turn off the mesh billboard at night as well, so it doesn't impact the quality of life for individuals that live in downtown. We have a living, breathing population. I encourage you and invite you, come down and see this. A lot of you folks talk about being there, you're not there. And those are facts. Along with that, 1,800 square feet. Andy Parrish pointed out it's bigger than the wall that's right behind you. So I have to, when I say I as a downtowner, have to live with this? The answer should be no. Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning. My name's Kiri Wan. I live at 3001 Southwest 4th Avenue in Miami, and I'm here to speak in opposition to SR2 and SR3. I want to encourage the commission not to follow some very vocal people in the community into what I think will be trouble for the city and for the rest of us who do also live in the community, who do have voices that matter. People talk about the number and the size of the sign is something that people use a lot. We're sitting underneath this wall and people are talking about this wall. The signs are in context of where they're placed. They're going to be overwhelmed by the colors on that bridge. They are aimed at traffic on a bridge on a highway. There are no tourists who come to Miami to hang out on that highway or under that bridge. They're not detracting from anything. They're supporting valuable pieces of our community. And the moment has passed to prevent these signs from existing. They've gotten their permissions. There's nothing but legal trouble for the city and for the citizens if you follow the folks who probably oppose almost anything that gets built anywhere when they oppose this as well. So I encourage you to please not support SR2 and SR3. Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning. My name is Grant Stern, 425 Northeast 22nd Street. And I'm here to thank Art Noriega, our city manager, for his wonderful ethics and for giving me the personal meeting that he promised. Actually, that's an April Fool's joke, guys. Not only are his ethics extremely questionable, but Mr. Noriega did not hold the meeting that he promised, despite multiple emails, phone calls, public records requests. He's nodding his head, he knows. Mr. Noriega is here earning $180 an hour laughing at every single person inside of this room because he is getting paid for us to beg our city to hire a reasonable manager, not someone who will participate in the retaliatory schemes of their puppet master, the commissioner who's not here to listen to this public comment. Well, Geppetto isn't here, but Pinocchio is certainly happy to get his $180 an hour. And he's not alone on this dais in being overpaid for doing a terrible, terrible job. And Victoria Mendez is smiling at me as I say that. I wonder why. Well, our city attorney has done a terrifically horrible job and should be removed at the end of this meeting. For a decade now, she overrides the decisions of our city administration. No matter what our city manager may try, they don't put up a fight that we know of. And that's how we get some of the worst decisions in the city of Miami. This city is run backwards. It's time for a clean house. And I'd like to also say, in conclusion, that I support SR 2 and 3. It's very important to preserve Miami for the residents and not to sell out to these billboard companies. If our cultural institutions need more money, then I'm sure Mrs. Arsht or Mr. Perez would be very glad to provide it. Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning, Chairwoman, Ms. King, and to everyone else. Good to see everyone. My name is Brandon Jones, and for the record, I'll place the address 5120 Northwest 24th Avenue, Miami, Florida, 33142. I stand today in support of SR 2 and SR 3. To make it very plain, Churchill says it best, that we make a living by what we get, but we make a life by what we give. I think that today we need to give the community that resides in that area what they've been asking for, and that is to support SR 2 and support SR 3. Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning. My name is Myra Jolie. My address is 978 North River Drive. I'm here today to support of RE 12 and RE 20. But we don't going to discuss what in those two items in the agenda, because those two items are based on transparency. And more than transparency is accountability. Here, we have a Commissioner Diaz de la Portilla who was kicked out by the governor for wrongdoing. But think about it, people. It takes more than only one commissioner to accomplish all the wrongdoings and malfeasance that he accomplished. It wasn't by himself. So it takes more than one person, and it has to be in the communication, direct communication with city attorneys, and also with the city manager. Anybody remember when Diaz de la Portilla had in the payroll in the city of Miami a ghost employee that all the people, the residents of Miami only knew about it because she liked to empinar el codo, and she was found driving under the influence, driving a car that was paid by us. So tell me, how come there is a check that is being cut in the payroll to somebody who doesn't work here, and these people didn't know about it? If they knew about it, they have to be kicked out of here. And if they didn't know, they have to be kicked out of here because they are not doing their job. And they don't have to be asked to leave. They have to be demanded that they leave immediately. And we are not going to spend more money in people who are dilapidating our funds just to enrich their family. How many times we're going to say that? Enrich their family. A chair in El Dorado costs $300, but with his wife it's $3,000.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for the opportunity to speak today. My name is Marley Schatz, and I live at 488 Northeast 18th Street. I urge you to champion the arts in our city by voting against SR2 and SR3 today unless a mutually beneficial compromise can be reached. Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning. My name is Dolores Garcia Gutierrez. I live at 150 Southeast 25th Road, Miami, Florida 33129. I'm here to support Commissioner Prado and Commissioner Cabela, Commissioner King, Carrillo, and Reyes. Please do not put up these huge billboards. It is not good for our community. It is terrible lighting. I live in the area. I can see those signs from the Miami-Dade billboard on 27th Avenue from my balcony. Also, as to Mr. Noriega, he needs to be accountable and he needs to put forth all that he needs to do to secure his problems. As to Ms. Menendez, it's time for her to go. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good morning, Fernando Mondi, Grove resident on DI-1. When credible independent reporting established that the city manager oversaw the expenditure of city funds to acquire city furniture from his wife's family furniture company, Praderi, the obvious conflict of interest was so clear that the manager himself acknowledged that it aroused suspicions of impropriety. His words, "Doesn't really matter if it's only $1, $1,000, $100,000, or in fact the $1 million that was actually spent on Praderi furniture, that the manager tries to justify the expenditure of a single penny on his wife's furniture company in the city he runs as the leading administrator is both disheartening and disqualifying. Now, 3 months later, in his continuing attempt to defend the indefensible, the manager insults the intelligence of every resident and every city professional by stating that he has not personally benefited financially from the over $1 million spent on his wife's family furniture company, sir. It's also disqualifying and insulting for the lead steward of our city tax dollars, the manager, to rationalize the acquisition of wildly overpriced Praderi furniture when the open market provides much more affordable alternatives. To the commissioners assembled today, if you vote to reward this disqualifying behavior by the manager, you send a very clear message to us, the residents, and that message is unethical, unprofessional, conflict of interest behavior in Miami is tolerated and rewarded. We, the residents, will remember how you vote today, especially those that seek future citywide office. Y para que quede claro, todos estamos prestándole muchísima atención en cómo votan hoy, todos de nosotros. Thank you for your time. Please vote the correct way.
Thank you. Good morning.
Morning, commissioners. Good morning, chairwoman. Good morning, residents of Miami. I want to start by saying, chairwoman, that I support RE13. I think that every historic building in our city needs to be protected. It's the fabric of our community, and we really need to make sure that those are protected at all costs. I am in support of SR2 and SR3 because that's what the people of downtown are asking for. And I want to end by saying that I ran for office. I'm extremely proud to say that I ran for office because the city of Miami and its residents need to regain confidence in our local elected officials. If any allegations are brought up towards our elected officials, the right thing to do is to really face it head on, speak about it, and let the residents know that we're here for them, and whatever actions we took were right, or there's a decision behind that and why they made that decision. That's why we're elected officials. You're elected by your residents, and you should, at the very least, face them head on, give them the face, and let them know why you did that. That's why you're there. That's why I wanted to be there, and I will continue to do it because we want to represent our people in the best way. That's why you are where you are. Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning, Madam Chair, Commissioners. My name is David Sipkin. I'm a resident of Spring Garden, proud constituent of Commissioner Gabella, District 1, and I respectfully yield my time to Billy Corbin, who does not live in the city.
Good morning, Madam Chair. Billy Corbin to speak on DI-1 and RE20. On January 11th, City Manager Art Noriega, who also doesn't live in the city, promised an immediate full accounting of the scandal involving his wife's overpriced furniture company, Praderi. Instead, 2 months later, we got a temper tantrum. And when 3 of his bosses kindly asked to defer his presentation until this meeting, he told you to pound sand. He whined about having this hang over his head for months, but he was solely responsible for that delay. Days later, he released a PowerPoint, hilariously named Final Presentation. It was, to borrow his description of media coverage of the scandal, inaccurate, incomplete, lies, made up, and fabricated. He was immediately forced to retract it after we caught him using numbers far lower than the city's own records. Noriega's ongoing deception and insubordination prove he cannot be trusted. Look at his new report. It basically says, okay, you caught me. I won't do it again. Which begs the question, if you did nothing wrong, why stop now? I don't expect an answer. He promised to do a sit-down interview with me. I'm still waiting. I got lots of questions. WLRN says that since Noriega became city manager, taxpayers spent $440,000 at Perderi. So why is the figure in his report almost $100,000 lower? We don't know because he didn't release the supporting documentation to prove his fuzzy math. What about his so-called recusal letter? Is it really a recusal if your own executive assistant, your direct report, signs off on contracts for your wife's company? And did the city get the best deal from Perderi? Doral didn't think so. They had a $100,000 contract with Perderi, but opened it up to public bidding, and taxpayers saved $50,000 with another company. How did the city manager's office, which had never purchased directly from Perderi before, suddenly become one of their best customers in the city? City Hall itself rarely, if ever, ordered from Perderi, and now the mayor and all the commissioners are getting their offices remodeled. Let's look at one contract with Perderi, a May 2022 remodel of Chairwoman King's office, totaling $57,000. That's $10,000 more than Miami's median household income, and includes $10,678 just for chairs and chair fabric. We don't call you Madam Chair for nothing, am I right? But city code requires contracts over $25,000 to be open to bidding. There was no bidding. City code also says contracts over $50,000 must be approved by the city commission. There was no vote of the city commission. Now, the most believable part of his report, Art Noriega blames the city attorney. He says that she told him, this is okay. I think we all know by now what a legal opinion from this lawyer is worth. And if you don't, I suggest you read Judge Moore's decision from yesterday. It's a stunning rebuke of the entire city government and its attorney. But you gotta love Noriega throwing the city attorney under the bus on the same day this commission once again considers her termination, which I urge you to support. And you should immediately terminate Art Noriega for cause. He's an overpriced furniture hustler disguised as a professional executive. And I respectfully suggest, to avoid the appearance of self-dealing, a breach of fiduciary duty, and exploitation of tax dollars, you should compel Perderi to provide an accounting of the actual costs of the products, labor, and associated expenses, and disgorge the profits back to the taxpayers. Please do the right thing so we can turn the page on this whole embarrassing era. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you.
Good morning. I'm Dean Lewis, resident and architect in the Upper East Side at residency at 5910 North Bayshore Drive, offices at 335 Northeast 59th Terrace. And I'm here to thank you all during a very sensitive level of subjects today. I want to thank the City Commission in particular, as well as city staff, for supporting SR 5, which is the right legislation for the Upper East Side. It'll continue to promote smart developments, including the integrated public benefits component, with terms that make sense and will ensure its appropriate measures for the neighborhood. And if you have any questions, I'll be glad to answer. And I thank you again. I've served for over 7 years on the Urban Design and Development Review Board, and this is the right legislature at the right time. So thank you again.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning, Madam Chair. My name is Mel Meinhardt. I live in the Center Grove. And it's a pleasure and an honor again to speak to our elected representatives about a really hard topic. I think the most difficult things I've ever done in my life, and there have been many times when I've made grievous mistakes and had the inability, either through dedication or loyalty to a subject, loyalty to a concept, to let them go and to say, look, I am not competent. I have made mistakes, and it's time to get folks who really know what's going on to get involved in that. That is such a difficult thing. It's been shameful to me when I've had to do that because I recognize my own inadequacies or weaknesses. Doggone it. I think it's time now for our elected representatives, our appointed representatives, and the good professionals here to recognize that in some areas of civic management, we are simply past our capacity. We've made mistakes. We have everybody in this room has made mistakes. I would ask for a show of hands, please. How many people in the room are completely satisfied with the performance of the city of Miami over the last any number of years? Show of hands, please. Seeing none, Madam Chairman, I leave it to you, to these representatives, to take decisive action, as I have before, to make the hard calls, the emotionally difficult calls, and bring in the talent that is required to make this city what your residents, what you, your families deserve. Thank you. My name is Mel Meinhardt, and I appreciate your energies. Bye.
Thank you. Seeing no one else for public comment, the public comment period is now closed. I would ask my colleagues if I may have a motion to approve the City of Miami Commission meeting minutes for January 25th and February 8th. I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Up on our consent agenda, we have CA 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Do any of my colleagues wish to pull any of those items for discussion?
Yes, I do, Madam Chair.
Which one?
CA4.
You would like to pull CA 4? Okay.
And I'd like to pull CA5.
You want to pull CA 5? Commissioner Reyes, do you want to pull any of the CA items?
No, they've been pulled already.
Okay. So may I have a motion to pass CA 1, 2, and 3?
CA1, 2, and 3.
I have a motion.
Second.
I have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Commissioner Gabello, you wanted to pull CA4. I will allow you to lead the discussion. You want to? Okay. We have our public hearing items, PH1 and PH2. Do any of my colleagues wish to pull PH1 or 2? Do any of you want to pull for discussion PH1 or PH2?
I have a little conflict.
For which one? For PH2?
Commissioner Reyes, we can't hear you, sir. Commissioner Reyes?
Yeah.
We couldn't hear you on the record.
I am just stepping out for PS2.
PH1 and PH2, do you have would you like to pull either one of those items for discussion?
No, I'm ready to go on those.
Okay, Commissioner Pardo, would you like to pull PH1 or 2 for discussion?
No.
Okay.
What I want, Madam Chair, is when you want to pull the PH, do it separate.
Okay. So may I have a motion to pass PH1?
Motion.
So I have a motion.
Second.
Make sure I understand what is being asked for. And I don't care what the district is. I don't play that game. It's community, to transfer community development block grant funds from District 2 to the economic development category from fiscal year 23-24, 444,000 almost. Okay, so this is transferring, if I understand it, from one area to another within the district. That's fine.
Ready? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously for PH2. May I have a motion?
Hold on.
I have a motion and a second.
Madam Chair?
Hold on.
On page 2, I was trying to understand why it was pulled or what the problem.
It's not pulled.
Oh,
Commissioner
okay.
Reyes has to,
So PH1, we just passed.
we just passed
And we're on
PH1.
PH2.
PH2,
Okay.
Commissioner Reyes has a conflict. He stepped out.
I had a mover, but I didn't get the second. My apologies.
Second.
This is Commissioner Gabella. Commissioner Gabella, could
Yes, sir.
you briefly just explain to me what this is?
So this was money that was granted by my predecessor, mind you, and it was promised to them, and they have nothing to do with what happened with my predecessor. I've been told that this is what's going on. That's it.
So what are you trying to do? You're trying to award it to them or take it from them?
No, it's been awarded to them, so they tell me, by my predecessor.
Right.
Okay, and they talked to us and came into the office to tell us that the promise was made to keep it because it was for a good cause.
Okay, so you're going to keep it then?
We're giving them the $250K.
I see.
Because my predecessor had promised it to them.
Look, I don't care if it's you or him
No, I
or
know,
what.
no.
If this is what you're presenting,
Yes.
that's fine. You're the commissioner in the district.
That's what I'm presenting, yes.
And this is what I've always have done in things of this sort, unless it's something that's outrageous, and I certainly don't think this is. I vote
Trust
for
me,
it.
if it was outrageous,
I
I
don't
wouldn't
care
have
if
done
it's you or whoever it is. I vote for it, and that's the way we should do it here.
Okay. Granted.
So I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. We are now on our resolutions. RE1 is a mitigation.
This in District 3, if we could have the people that are here for the mitigation and our staff.
I believe so, but Madam Chair, while we wait to get staff out, Commissioner Reyes has graciously sponsored an ordinance, a pocket item ordinance. If I could read the title so that it's first reading today and it'll come back second reading on April 25th. An ordinance of the Miami City Commission amending Chapter 10, Article 6 of the Code of the City of Miami, Florida as amended, titled Buildings, Unsafe Structures, to amend qualification for members of the Unsafe Structures Panel containing a severability clause and providing for an effective date. As you have heard, the county has not allowed us to use their panel members anymore, and this change would allow for former City of Miami employees that separated from the city 2 or more years ago, leaving in good standing, to be able to participate as panel members. And the panelists must sign an affidavit attesting to not having a conflict of interest in their service as an unsafe structures panelist and in compliance with state and local ethics codes, and shall participate in the required yearly local ethics training. So those are the changes. It'll come back second reading.
Madam City Attorney, when did the county take away that board from us?
It took away sending panelists about 2 months ago. Beginning of April. So we've already missed 2 meetings of the unsafe structures because we don't have enough
Okay, how have we picked
panelists.
the panelists?
Ms. Dooley?
Good morning, members of the Commission. Rachel Dooley, Office of the City Attorney. So the panelists are being procured in the exact same manner that the county does procure them. And in the list, you can see, I think you have the copy there. It lists every requirement. Those are the same that come from the county. We're doing it basically the same way. It's just the city is procuring them rather than them coming over from the county. And many of the panelists who have been with us for years from the county actually want to come and just do this with the city.
Yeah, now, before, when the county was procuring the members, outside of approving it, did we have anything to do with it or not?
No.
So it was totally independent?
Completely.
The county picked them. They sent what was called the Unsafe Structural Board or panel. It was all picked by the county. We just approved it, and they handle that for us.
Yes, sir.
Okay. I wanted to be sure that that was the case. Commissioner, I think this is excellent, good government. If I can, with your permission, since you're bringing this ordinance up, just add a line or two to make it a little stronger. And that is, and maybe the city attorneys can assist in wording it if it's acceptable to you, that any member of the panel that would have any conflict, whether real or perceived, where they have worked for, have family members that have worked for, or have been associated in any way with anyone coming before them, that they would recuse themselves for that item.
Could you please clarify that?
Well, let me be specific. If you or I are both members of the panel, and we have someone that's come before us for an unsafe structure, that we have to vote, and one of us is working with them or have a family member that's working for them,
There's a conflict.
well,
That's a
or
conflict right there.
indirectly we're associated with that person.
Well, indirectly, I mean.
Well, indirectly that we're working with them
explain that?
in a board where a board appoints, but that person is the key person or a member of the board that appoints them for a job. That this is what I'm talking about, on whether it's a direct conflict or a perceived conflict, that on that item that they recuse themselves.
Yes, but we have an affidavit requirement. You see, anybody that's going to act as a board member, or going to be in the panel, has to sign an affidavit that they don't have any.
Well, but you don't know what cases are going to be coming before you.
Yes, but
every time.
I agree with you that if there is a conflict of interest, they must recuse themselves. And but the only thing that I am not too sure about if it is a suspicion. That's what you said.
No.
If it is a relationship,
it's,
because if somebody comes in and it is a friend of a friend of a friend, then they have to recuse themselves.
That's not what I'm talking about. That's not what I'm talking about.
But I would say that if there is a conflict of interest, have work, that is fine. If it works, had worked for that, that
it worked directly or indirectly.
Directly, indirectly, that we have to define indirectly.
Well, okay, indirectly. For instance, if you're working for a board, that particular individual coming before you has been a member of that board when you were hired, has been a chairman of that board when you were hired, that might be an indirect, if not direct.
Yes, but the thing is, who's going to define that? I mean, there is indirectly. It's like it is, and it. I agree with you. If there is a conflict, they should. They had worked directly, but when we go into indirectly, we lead ourselves to our own opinion. You see, and what I wanted is that if somebody is going to be precluded from voting, that it must be a reason that it is proof that they should. You see, they shouldn't be taking part in that because there is a tie. It is a direct tie.
Tell me what would make you feel comfortable that we use as a wording.
The first thing that you said, it had worked that worked directly with any of the, a person that comes before the panel, that they should recuse himself.
Okay, that's fine. We'll go with that.
Okay.
We were on RE1, the mitigation, 127 Northwest 11th Avenue. I believe the parties are present.
Good morning, Chairwoman, Commissioners. Robert Santos Albona, Co-Compliance Director.
RE1 is a mitigation of a property located at 127 Northwest 11th Avenue. The violations were for illegal units, work without permits, maintaining structures in the setback. The notice of violation was issued on June 19, 2013, adjudicated on November 13, 2013. The violation ran for 617 days, and it was corrected via demolition. The total accrued fines is $154,250, and the respondent is offering 10%, which is $15,425.
How many illegal units were there?
I don't have the exact amount. I am going to give it to you in a second, sir.
And you said that it was for, or at least it sounded to me, a longer period of time than the dates that you gave me. You said that the violations were found when? And what
The violations were, the NOV was issued on June 2013, adjudicated on November 2013, and it ran for less than 2 years, 617 days.
Until we demolished or they demolished?
They demolished. They demolished.
Based on us demanding that, right?
Correct. Now, I'm going to say this because when I met with each of you, I reflected that this case came before the Code Enforcement Board because it was a duplex, and when it came before the board, it was a vacant lot whose immediate previous use is a single family or a duplex, therefore eligible to be heard. And the board chose not to. This was during a transition period.
They chose not to hear it.
Right. They thought that it was not eligible. Right? And the record will reflect that I thought it was very clear but they didn't.
But
so,
it was a duplex.
Yes, sir.
Into how many units did they break it up into?
So,
Three?
Three. That's what I'm hearing from council.
All right.
So I had reflected, that they're offering the amount of $15,425, which is 10% for your consideration, because they had to incur extra expenses in hiring counsel. So I'm going to yield to counsel now.
Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the Commission. Miriam Sola Ramos with offices at 701 Brickell Avenue on behalf of JJRC Investments, who owns the property at this time. I do want to let the Commission know that my client was not the owner of the property when these violations occurred. They purchased the property in October of 2022 and learned that an affidavit of compliance had not been obtained. And so they came to try to mitigate the matter because it did in fact qualify for mitigation. Unfortunately, the Code Enforcement Board did not understand that and did not offer them mitigation. That has caused them to have to hire legal counsel and file a quiet title action, which of course has led to additional expenses. So while we did offer the traditional 10% for a residential property, I am asking if you would consider even a smaller amount than that because they have had to incur additional fees due to the fact that the Code Enforcement Board would not hear the matter, and technically that was legally improper.
So what are the additional fees that they incurred?
So they came to the Code Enforcement Board. After that was not even denied, but just really not heard. They had to hire me and incur additional legal fees or incur legal fees, period, as well as the filing of the lawsuit, the quiet title action, which is what has me before you today.
Okay, well, anything more you like to proffer?
I'm sorry, sir?
Anything more that you would like to proffer?
Yes. So during my discussion with the individual commissioners, I had reflected that Code would have no objection to accepting $12,000 in mitigation payment.
What is the 10% that they're offering? What does that come to?
$15,425.
Look, we've tried to keep...
It's 9%.
Yeah, no less than that, but we judge each one depending on
their merits.
On the merits and what it was. In this case, it's an investment firm that owns this, correct?
It's a holding company.
It's an investment company. It's being rented out now, correct?
It's a vacant property.
It's vacant now. Okay. So either they're going to build there or they're going to flip the property down the road. When they bought it, they were aware of the problems that it had because it would have shown in the deed, correct?
Yes, they bought it knowing that there had been issues with the property.
Okay. What we don't know, and I'm not going to get into it because I think probably we know the answer on that they probably got it at a better deal because of the problems that it had. This is not a lot of your typical cases if someone didn't cut the lawn, minor stuff. While it's not something that's super huge, it's one more unit, but they bought it knowing that the people they were buying it from owed that money and had those problems. And I have to assume, without going into the public records now and finding out what they bought it for and giving an estimate of what I think was probably worth, that they, because of that, got a better deal than they normally would have. I'm assuming that. Nevertheless, even if that's not the case at all, going to the Code Enforcement Board, they chose to have an attorney. They don't need an attorney. Not talking about a huge amount of dollars. And even here, they could have come here like many people do and represents themselves, but unless she's charging way more, it shouldn't be that expensive either. I think that when you have cases like this, that you're putting more people into the place that are supposed to be living, you have to go a little higher. So I'm going to proffer 15%. Would be acceptable, which I think is fairly fair.
Commissioner, would you allow me to address one additional point you made?
Certainly.
Thank you. So there was no legal representation at the Code Enforcement Board. I was hired after the fact, and while many people do come here and represent themselves, the only way that we get to this posture is by having a quiet title action filed, and I would venture to say that most people would not be able to do that without legal counsel. So I agree with you that normally at the Code Enforcement Board an amount of 10 or 15% would be perfectly appropriate, but because of the mistake made by the board, they had to hire counsel to file this quiet title action to get me to come here. So I just wanted to make that clear so you would consider that.
Well, I don't know if a mistake that the board made or not. The board had the option of doing it or not, I feel. So I would proffer a 15%. It's not that huge of a difference, especially for an investment property. You're looking around $7,212.50 more cents and an additional 5%.
Is that a motion?
It's a motion that we accept 15%.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye. So for the record, 15% is $23,137 with 50 cents.
Right.
As amended.
As amended. Thank you. RE2.
RE2, Madam Chairwoman, Commissioners, RE2 is mitigation of a property located at 1115 Northwest 54th Street. This is a commercial lot. The violation is for failure to maintain the lot. NOV was issued on July 12, 2017, adjudicated on December 2017. The violation ran for 2,210 days. However, of importance, and I explained to each of you when I met, is that the property owner of record passed away, and the owners now, I believe it's the grandchildren, they did not know about the running fines. There is support evidence that the violation was corrected approximately a year later, and the total amount accrued for all those days is $552,000. However, if we do the 1 year, which is approximately $100,000, the respondent is offering $20,000, which is about 20%. So I'm going to yield to council to explain in greater detail.
May I have a motion to accept 20% of the,
Motion.
but let me put it on the record, for the time not beyond, say that again,
So the support documentation is that it lasted approximately a year, and it would have been 100,000.
which would be 100,000, which
Yes.
is 20% of the 100,000. I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Thank you.
As
Madam
amended.
Chair.
As amended. In RE3,
RE3, Chairwoman, Commissioners, Robert Santos Harbona, Co-Compliance Director. RE3 is a mitigation of a property located at 1640 West Flagler Street. The violations are for work without permits, illegal units, and setback violations. The violations were complied on February 1st, 2019. It ran for 584 days, accruing a total of $146,000 per day. The offer from council, who I'm just meeting right now, is, I believe, $11,000, which is 7.5%. As I explained to each of you, I believe it's rather low. Yeah.
Without even hearing from anyone, but.
Let's hear.
Counsel?
Good morning, Madam Chair and members of the Commission, Mr. Vice Chair. This is in your district. Nicholas Rodriguez on behalf of Maria Handal, the property owner. This is a property that's individually owned, not by an investment firm. And what happened here is the citation was both an unsafe structure violation and a simultaneous code violation. She actually addressed the unsafe structure violation, and it was closed on January 29th of 2018 with a building permit to demolish the offending structure. At that point, she asked the inspector whether there was any additional things that she needed to do. By no fault of the unsafe structure inspector, she informed her the violation was closed. There was nothing more for her to do. She had no idea there was a code enforcement violation also running. She only found out when the property was being sold and the deal fell through. And this is an individual property owner. This property is being sold to fund her retirement. And the violation should have been closed when the permit was issued and the work was completed. And the offer would be 20% of what the lien would have been if the violation would have been closed in January of 2018 when the permit was finalized. So the offer is quite low in looking at the overall lien, but the lien would have only been $54,000 had she called for the compliance inspection when she got her demolition permit and the permit was finalized. So that's why we came in with this offer.
What kind of structure do you have here?
It's a commercial structure.
How many stories?
I believe it's 2 stories.
2 stories? Do you know the square feet approximately?
No, I don't. I could get it from the property appraiser.
Mr. Co-Director?
I don't have that at my fingertips, but I will provide it to you shortly if you require it.
It's about a little less than 3,000 square feet per the property appraiser.
How long has your client owned the property?
Since 2009.
2009. And it was an unsafe structure. When did he get cited for unsafe structure?
So I'm going to get that information for you shortly. I don't have my laptop with me. So for the record, it happens often that sometimes respondents do get confused the unsafe structure process with code. And they run parallel and simultaneously, and it's really up to the respondent to follow the process. But let me get that computer, and I'll be happy to tell you.
But outside of the unsafe structure?
Yes.
And what was the unsafe structure for? So would you see the seriousness of it or not?
So I do not have that information with me as is cited for code. It's cited for operating without CU, BTR, work without permits, illegal units, and setback. That's what the violations are for.
Okay.
The unsafe structure violation travels separately through building.
Illegal units?
Yes, sir. CU, BTR, illegal units, because it's an apartment, and a setback violation. So you had a structure, clearly a structure in the setback without
I think
permits.
you said work without permits.
Yes, sir.
Do you know if the work without permit was there prior to when she bought it, or did she do it herself?
The violation is issued by code in 2017. It may have happened before. Legal is going to provide the information on the illegal structure.
Good morning again, Rachel Dooley on behalf of the Office of the City Attorney and speaking with the Assistant City Manager. The unsafe structure looks like there may have been some improper interior remodeling, that they did an interior demolition, took out whatever wasn't supposed to be there, and then did finalize that in January of 2018 as stated by council. And then they've subsequently done their recertifications and everything else.
Do we know if they did it or the previous owner?
It would be the same owner. It was 2000 and it was purchased in 2009.
Yeah.
It's not a large, it's less than 10,000 square feet, I think.
Yeah, it's like a 3,000 square foot building.
Yeah, it's not a large building.
Okay. Now, where did the unsafe structure come from?
It looks like it was work without a permit in the interior that they had to fix and get permits for. So they did an interior demolition and then pulled permits to fix whatever the issue was inside, and it was complied. And then after that, they did their recertifications and everything else. They've stayed in compliance.
How quickly did they cure the illegal work without a permit?
So
From the time they got...
It would look like it was 2017 to the beginning of 2018, so that would be less than a year.
Okay. It's a fair amount of time that I'm going for.
Through the chair, if I may,
Sure.
curing an unsafe structure violation, the process to get permits, complete the work, and then finalize the permit. A year is pretty speedy for resolving that, and she did it completely on her own.
That's what I said. I said it was fair. I got no problem with that timing. I understand. You're correct.
Thank you.
Now, the rest of the violation that councilor is saying that they were confused, they thought that it had been settled. How long did it go for?
So, based on the information on the unsafe structure demolition, that's in 2018, and our compliance is in 2019. So I agree with council's statement that probably instead of the total amount of days that ran, let me find the date, the time, significantly lower, maybe cut in half.
How long?
So let me tell you.
So the code violation ran for an additional year after.
Correct.
Yeah.
What's the total amount today that you're bringing?
146,000 exactly. It ran for 584 days total. So.
And you're proposing only 7.5.
Of the total amount, it's 20% of what it would have been if it was closed on the day that she obtained her
If
permit.
it would have been, but we really, even if she would have known,
Right.
have no way to measure if she would have closed it then or not.
I believe the permit would have resolved the violation. Right?
But look, anytime you have illegal units, fence of the sort like this, we just gave 15% before. We have to, keep a standard that wouldn't go below that. So I would proffer 15%. I think the director agreed that the 7.5 was way too low, and I proffer 15% instead of the 7.5 that they offer.
Is that a motion?
The motion. Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously.
And for the record, commissioners, the 15% totals $21,900.
As amended.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. For the remainder of the RE items, we have RE 6, 7, 8, 10, 11, 12, 13, 15, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, and 22. Would any of my colleagues like to pull any of the remaining for discussion?
Okay, so 6 is 7, 8, 9.
9 has been deferred.
Okay, so I'd like to put 11, R11, RE12.
Okay, you want to pull those?
Hang on a minute, please. RE 16.
I'm going to pull RE 16.
So you're pulling our 11, Commissioner?
11 and 12.
11 and 12? Okay.
Yeah, 11 and 12 is what I said. Right?
11, 12, and 16.
And 16, okay.
Okay.
And then, that's it for me.
Okay. Commissioner Gabella, do you have any remaining RE items that you would like to pull for discussion? RE 9 has been deferred until May 23rd.
So that's been deferred.
You got RE 11, 12?
11 and 12, right?
Yes, RE 11, 12, and
16.
16.
It's yours, 16.
On RE 12, Commissioner Gabella,
Yes, ma'am.
yesterday I had sent you information. I don't know if that changes whether you're withdrawing this item for RE 12, which is the
Yes,
Ben
you're right.
Cuny.
So that item is actually, it's moved because of what happened.
Okay, you're fine then?
I think
Okay.
I am, yes.
So
You just
then,
reminded me.
Do we
If-
want to withdraw that?
Yes, if
Commissioner
Commissioner,
Bellica, do you want to withdraw it?
Which one is that?
RE 12.
RE 12, because the gentleman took himself out of the case
So you
voluntarily.
want to
So-
withdraw it?
So let me withdraw that one.
Okay, may I have a motion to withdraw RE 12?
Motion.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
RE 12 has been withdrawn. Okay.
on RE 11, since that one is in play about the legal audits, since a new...
And RE 19, that's it. So mine's are RE 11, I'm sorry to interrupt you. RE 11, 16, and 19.
You want to pull RE 11, 16, and 19.
That is correct.
Okay.
Okay.
Are there any of the
Yes, I would like to pull RE 20.
RE 20?
Yes, and just for discussion.
Okay. Anything else?
RE 20's been pulled.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on. Okay.
Okay, so may I have a motion for RE 6, 7, 8, 10, 13, 14, 15, 17. I want to pull 18.
Okay.
17, 21, and 22. May I have a motion? I have a motion. May I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries for RE 6, 7, 8, 10, 13, 14, 15, 17, 21, and 22. Thank you.
Okay, Commissioner, it's now almost a quarter after noon. Can we break and come back for the remaining agenda?
Yes, we have, if that's the will of the body, we have the Southeast Overtown Park West CRA meeting, as well as the Virginia Key Beach Park Trust meeting to follow, and then the break, if that's fine with everybody.
That would be fine.
And can I say one more thing?
Absolutely.
Madam Chair? I don't know what you guys think, but I think when we come back, I'd like to suggest to the rest of the body that we put to bed the question of the city manager once and for all. It's the elephant in the room. I don't want what happened last time to happen again.
Yeah, we have it in
You
the
wanna-
agenda
you
early
want-
enough.
Right, and that's all I'm saying, so the same thing doesn't happen next
Okay.
time, and that's all, and I don't know what you...
Let me.
We should take it before, the first thing that,
Okay.
after we come back from the break. take-
Okay, so let me ask you guys. Let me ask you guys. We have an attorney-client session. Do you want to break for lunch, go to the attorney-client session, and then come back to the commission meeting?
Yes. I
Because to
think-
let everybody know.
I think that would be best to do that way, so we get done with everything else.
Personally, I'd rather not because I think ER 20 plays into the attorney-client session.
Okay. Mr. City Clerk?
And I do apologize. To meet our advertising deadline, I would request that we pass the pocket item from Commissioner Reyes before you break for the lunch recess so that we can notice the title for April 25th.
So if I may open public comments for the pocket item, Madam City Attorney, could you please read the title of the pocket item into the record again? If there's anyone that would like to speak on that pocket item.
An ordinance of the Miami City Commission amending Chapter 10, Article 6 of the Code of the City of Miami, Florida, is amended titled Buildings, Unsafe Structures to amend qualification for members of the Unsafe Structures Panel containing a severability clause and providing for an effective date.
Is there anyone that would like to speak on that item?
Second reading would be April 25th.
Seeing none, public comment period is closed. Mr. City Clerk, do we have a lot of appointments for boards? Maybe we can.
Could I have a motion on that PI1?
Oh, I have a motion as amended. I have a motion and a second. May I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Do we have a lot of board appointments? Maybe I could.
Can we leave those, for later?
Just trying to get rid. Okay, so at this time, the City of Miami Commission meeting for April 11th, 2024 is now in recess. The Southeast Overtown Park West CRA meeting will begin as soon as the City Clerk flips the tape. Thank you all.
Chair, the Commission will be coming back from the lunch recess?
2 hours after the last meeting between the Southeast Overtown Park West CRA and the Virginia Key Beach Park Trust meeting, whatever 2 hours is after that. Okay? Are you ready?
Really good. Made my morning.
You get my answer?
Okay. At this time, the Southeast Overtown Park West CRA meeting will begin. Mr. Executive Director.
Good morning, Madam Chair, or afternoon, I should say. First of all, let me announce that the third item is not going to be, we're deferring that item because we need to do a little bit more work on the item. So, third item will not be heard today.
Okay, so you're going to have to take an action on that deferral.
May I have a motion to defer item 3? I have a motion.
Second.
And a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Item 3 is now deferred.
Thank you. Item number 1, a resolution of the Southeast Overtown Park West Redevelopment Agency authorizing the executive director to engage Lecker LLP of Florida Limited Liability Partnership for representation of the SEO PWCRA in a case of Emmanuel Miot versus the City of Miami. Item number 2, a resolution by the Board of Southeast Overtown Park West Community Redevelopment Agency authorizing the revocable license agreement attached and incorporated herein for the use of properties at 142 Northwest 11th Street and 119 Northwest 11th Street, Miami, Florida, 33136. Item number 4 is a resolution directing the executive director to enter into a purchase and sale agreement on matters regarding properties located at 1955 Northwest 5th Place, apartment number 14, Miami, Florida, 33136, in the amount of $293,000. Another purchase agreement for a property located on 1990 Northwest 4th Court, apartment number 12, Miami, Florida, 33136. And those are the 4 items for consideration.
At this time, I'm going to open the floor for public comment. If there's anyone that would like to speak on any of the items that were just announced, please come forward. Seeing no one for public comment, may I have a motion to pass items 1, 2, 4, and 5?
Move it.
Motion.
I have a motion.
Second.
I have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. And this shall conclude the Southeast Overtown.
The minutes?
Oh, I'm sorry. May I have a motion to pass the minutes for January 25th, 2024 and February 22nd, 2024? I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Passes unanimously. Thank you all. At this time, the Southeast Overtown Park West CRA meeting is concluded.
Thank you.
And we will now, when the clerk's office flips the tape, begin the Virginia Key Beach Park Trust meeting.
Mr. McQueen. McQueen. No.
Good afternoon and welcome to the Virginia Key Beach Park Trust meeting for April 11th, 2024. Madam Executive Director.
Good afternoon. Thank you. At this time, we'd like to call the meeting to order. We have Chairwoman King, Cabrera, Pardo, Carollo, Reyes. We do not have Board Member Brown and we do not have Board Member Peabody. At this time, we'd like to approve the minutes from our previous meeting, which was January 11th. Can we get a motion for that?
Move it.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Public comment for any of the items?
Does anyone wish to speak on any of the items before us? Seeing none, public comment period is closed.
Perfect, thank you. We did speak with Board Member Brown. He did have a death in the family. He's asking for a waiver, which would take place for the previous meeting and this meeting. So we'll go ahead and put that on the next meeting. And for the sake of time, Chairwoman, would you like for us to read in all 4 items?
Please.
Okay.
A resolution of the Virginia Key Beach Park Trust appointing Kerry Johnson, subject to the confirmation by the City of Miami City Commission, as a member of the Virginia Key Advisory Board for a term as designated herein. Item 2, a resolution of the Virginia Key Beach Park Trust with attachments by a 4/5 affirmative vote pursuant to Section 18-85A of the Code of the City of Miami, Florida, as amended, City Code, after an advertised public hearing, ratifying, approving, and confirming the Executive Director's finding, attached and incorporated as Exhibit A, waiving the requirements for competitive sealed bidding procedures as not practicable or advantageous to the Trust, to enter into a revocable license agreement with Paddle, LLC, allowing it to operate kayak and paddleboard rental kiosks at the historic Virginia Key Beach Park, authorizing the Executive Director to accept and appropriate revenue generated from the RLA, authorizing the Executive Director to negotiate and execute a revocable license agreement between the Trust and Paddle in a form acceptable to the City Attorney, further authorizing the Executive Director to negotiate and execute all other documents, including amendments, renewals, and extensions, all in forms acceptable to the City Attorney, subject to future allocations, appropriations, and budgetary approvals made in compliance with all applicable laws and provisions of the City Code, providing for an effective date. The third item is a resolution of the Virginia Key Beach Park Trust ratifying, approving, and confirming the agreements as further described in Exhibit A, attached and incorporated, providing for an effective date. And the last item, item 4, is a resolution of the Virginia Key Beach Park Trust with attachments approving the amended bylaws of the Trust, attached and incorporated as Exhibit A, and providing for an effective date.
May I have a motion? I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously.
And
Thank
Chair,
you.
I believe item number 2 is to be amended, correct?
Yes, we have copies of the updated memo, which Issa, go ahead and give it to them. You guys have copies of the updated memo.
For item 2 as amended. And we have a discussion item, quarterly update by the executive director.
And I'll make it brief for the sake of time. In the copies of the documents that they gave you, the pages have the quarterly report in there. For transparency purposes, we also include our finances, which include the revenue and the expenditures for this quarter and year to date. We have the information for the education department, marketing, special events, parking operations, and general administration. At this time, we have a project manager assigned for the museum, and we're moving forward with that. Once the business plan is approved, we will be asking to release those dollars from Miami-Dade County, so we're currently working on that. And then last is our current updating of events that we have coming. Bonanza, which is conjunction with Miami-Dade County, will be at the park on April the 13th. We do have the mayor that's confirmed. Levine Cava will be there. We have Steinberg, District 4, Higgs, District 5, Cohen Higgs, District 8, and Garcia, District 13. That will be attendance for that event on April the 13th. That is Bonanza. If you will be in attendance, please advise so we can do our due diligence. And we also have a lunch and learn that will take place on April the 13th to bring awareness to Black Miamians that help build up the city of Miami. And at that time, my report is complete.
Thank you, Madam Executive Director. At this time, the Virginia Key Beach Park Trust meeting has now concluded, and I will see you, what time is it? 12:30. 2:30? We'll return at 2:30 for the City of Miami Commission meeting. Thank you.
Thank you.